Hello. I have no starting screen. I feel like I'm speaking into the void, but I really, really wanted to watch this. So, was it? Bitch, I'm so excited. Anyways, hi. This is so weird. Going live in the middle of nothing. Should I just start watching? Should I do a starting screen? Bruh. Ah, there you guys all are. Hello. Hello, hello. Can you cuddle me, bro? Go get your mommy. All right, I'm just going to watch it because there's only so much time during this lunch break. And yeah, I need to see what happens. I was so mad that the one day I was going to take off is the one day they actually have Johnny testify.
Are we ready for the next witness? Or do you
Yes,
want to
we call Mr. Depp.
Okay.
How could you do that to me? How could you do that to me? The schmaudacity. I did see Kate Moss, but I didn't think
So
it was
just a
that big
reminder,
of a
you're
deal.
still under oath, okay?
It was what I
All right, thank
expected.
you, sir.
For her to be like, hey, that never happened.
Good morning, Mr. Depp.
Good morning.
Good morning. He's
We
so
heard
charming.
a lot about some statements
He's
that
so charming.
Mr. Waldman made. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Good morning.
And Mr. Waldman
Good
is your
morning.
attorney or was your attorney?
Yes.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1245? And this is already
Wasn't
in
gonna
evidence,
stream,
so
I wasn't
permission to
gonna.
please
Yes.
publish. If we could scroll down to the second page.
Okay, I need to catch up. You missed so much. I know, that's why I'm here. Ugh, I can't believe.
Mr. Depp, do you see the statement here attributed to Mr. Waldman?
Yes.
I
do.
don't.
When's the first time that you saw this statement?
Amber Heard. Oh, yeah.
All right.
The hoax statement. Bro's laughing. I'm happy for him. This is a look. I look like a baby. A literal child. No, a toddler. I'm feeling like a toddler. I am very comfy though. Everybody should be in their PJs. Unless you're at work. You should still get to be in your PJs at work. I think they should make that a law. Come on, get to it. Get to it. I'm trying to hear Mr. Depp speak. By the way, please, no spoilers regarding this
Can you get back up?
testimony.
Thank you. Mr. Depp, when is the first time that you saw this statement by Mr. Waldman?
The first time that I ever saw this statement was in August. It was when the piece was
Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence
it was
allegations
the
to
first
build a
time
sword
that I
and shield
saw any
depending on
of
their
these
needs.
statements.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1246? This is also already in evidence. Thank you. If we could scroll down to the second page, or the third perhaps. Thank you. Mr. Depp, do you see the statement that's attributed to Mr. Waldman here?
I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna see
And
if I can stay.
when is
as
the first time that you
unbiased
saw
as before?
these statements?
But depending on his testimony, I might
It's
have
the
to
same
change that.
when the countersuit was filed.
And could we please go to Defense Exhibit 1247? And again, this is already in evidence.
Do you guys want it on normals
And if we could scroll down,
Speed.
please, thank you.
or 0.25?
Mr. Depp, do you
speed?
see the statement attributed to Mr. Waldman?
I did, yes.
And when's the first time that you saw this statement?
This is the same. It's the counterclaim to August 2020.
We'll do this until we feel like we want to do more.
After you saw these statements for
There
the
should be
first
enough time to catch
did
up
you
with
form an
our break.
understanding as to where they appeared?
I didn't, as to where they had appeared, the statements.
In what publication?
No, off the bat, I didn't know exactly.
Okay, maybe we
It just
should do
seemed like a lot of
1.25.
word salad to me. I didn't know
Sorry,
where they
what?
come from, or I mean, where
Word
they ended
salad?
up. Or,
It seemed like a lot of
Mr. Depp,
word
do you recall
salad?
Ms. Heard
funny.
testifying that you did not assist her in getting her role in Aquaman?
yes, I do, yes.
Oh,
And what is your response to that?
It's not exactly true.
Do you know when Ms. Heard first auditioned for Aquaman?
Strangely, I know the date. Well, no, yes, I do know the date, because I was scheduled with my band, the Hollywood Vampires. We had done 2
the
shows at
Hollywood
the
vampires.
Roxy, which is a place in Los Angeles, to rehearse for we were invited to play at the Rock in Rio concert, which is a huge rock and roll festival. So we did the 2 shows to go to Rio and play there. Miss Heard had wanted to come with me, and Whitney, her sister,
What do you
had
eat?
come as
Eggs
well.
and potatoes and veggies.
While we were there in Rio, we were rehearsing, getting ready for the show. Miss Heard informed me that she would have to get back to Los Angeles for an audition, meaning it's basically after our 2-hour show or whatever, we would have to get on the plane immediately to make it back to Los Angeles
For her
for this audition.
audition, yeah.
And that audition was at Warner Brothers. It was whatever film it was.
And when were you performing at the Rock in Rio?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was I believe it was the 24th of September.
In what year?
That was 15.
What do you understand happened after Ms. Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
Into the source first, and it has changed my life.
I'm saying.
After Ms. Heard's audition, or possibly auditions, for
Thank you
Warner
to
Brothers
anyone who
and
says I look cute
I
or not
suppose the
crazy.
creative team.
Thank you.
Ms. Heard had expressed to me that the film was going to be, Warner Brothers had said that the film was going to be shooting in Australia.
Okay, wait, sorry. I took an Uber this morning to go somewhere, come back, and the Uber driver was like, "Is that your natural hair color?" And I was like, "Oh, it's got like a little bit of highlights." And he was like, "Wow. Having natural texture like that, and on top, such a unique hair color, it looks so nice." I was like, "Oh, thank you." He was like, "I'm a sucker for curly hair." Not in a creepy way. Mans was like 20 something, you know. I was like, "Oh." Yeah, I actually don't wear it like this very much. Like, I'm just getting used to it. And he's like, "Why?" I was like, "Oh, well, when I was younger, you know, I always straightened it." And he's like, "Why would you straighten something that is naturally so beautiful?" I was like, "Oh." It's like, "Well, yeah, I'm trying." Well, like years ago, it was all the rave to have straight hair, blonde hair, I ship it, stop! I was like, yeah, I'm trying. And then, yeah, we just start driving and he's like, well, my hair, I just let it dry after I take a shower. And sometimes it looks K-drama vibes. He was like, sometimes it looks like absolute shit. But sometimes it looks like I spent 50 hours on it at a hair salon. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds like boy hair to me. And then the rest of the ride, he played like metal music and he sang to it out loud. Do you recall what ethnicity he was? Boy was Mayo, bro. He was Caucasian. Actually, he could have been a flavor of Caucasian. I don't know which, but yeah. It was very funny. Sounds like a white boy. It was fun. He's like, I really have a thing for curly hair. And I just like sang along to his metal music the rest of the ride.
Australia was for Ms. Heard, that was a potential problem, which...
Objection, Your Honor. Your approach?
Okay.
Sanest US Uber driver, I mean. Yeah. Alright, speed this shit up. We gotta catch up. He was jamming a Slipknot. No, legit. And like fully singing along. Not even jamming. He was like out loud singing along. And I don't even mean this in a bad way. I thought it was funny. I really have a thing for curly hair. I took a video of it actually, but I'd feel BM showing it. I just sent it to my friend because it was just really funny. He speaks what's on his heart, yeah. Hi, Mushy. But yeah, I'm just surprised. Maybe curly hair is like trendy now. You know? Bridget.
I apologize, Mr. Deputy. Please continue. What happened after Ms. Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
I was informed by Ms. Heard that the film was going to be shooting in Australia, and that was of concern to her, and because it was of concern to Warner Brothers. So she asked if I would, because I'd had a multi for a few years. I'd had a multi-film deal with Warner Brothers, and so we'd been in business together. So I knew these people. I'd been on films with them. So she asked me if I would speak to them. I made a phone call and I spoke to.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
I don't believe he said anything. I think he was going to say who he spoke to.
All right, we'll see. Overruled at this point.
I spoke to
I'm so interested.
three.
So did you get her the
three
role?
upper echelon.
Tell me.
Disney executive. Excuse me.
Did
Warner
you get her the
executives,
role on
Kevin Tsujihara, Sue Kroll,
I want to
and
know.
Greg Silverstein.
No spoilers.
And I told them that.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll just take the objection. Next question.
What was the result of you speaking with those individuals?
Well,
I was able to secure
I can only say
the
that
role.
ultimately she did get the job in the film. So hopefully I suppose I had curbed their worries to some degree.
Aww. Okay, can I just say, I'm fucking confused. I am fucking confused because he didn't want me to work. He didn't want me to do this. He didn't want me to do that. And he's like, I helped her get the role in Aquaman. Was it because it was a role he was okay with? I mean, either way, I'm fucking confused. You're confused. I'm confused, bro. I'm so fucking confused. Anyways, let's continue. But it is very nice of him to help her secure that. If he did, and I don't feel like there would be an adequate reason to lie about that, because it's like a detail of the trial. It's not, it doesn't even have anything to do with the abuse.
Mr. Depp, do you recall
Or
Ms. Heard
alleged
testifying
abuse.
that she
Sorry.
saw you
Was that a
consume
Fesco
8 to 10
reference? Yeah.
MDMA pills while you were in Australia in March of 2015?
Yes, I do remember that.
How
I
many?
also remember her saying that I took a handful.
Objection beyond the scope.
Enzo
Sorry,
Miller
that was
with
extra
$2.
residue.
Oh, sustain the objection.
I made
Next
a weird
question.
comment in X
How many
CS
times have you done-
chat. I didn't do it in your chat, but I want to apologize.
Aww.
It was made out of misplaced anger over hearing your unbias over the case. Instead of watching to understand your opinion, I made an uniformed weird comment.
An uninformed word comment. That is very nice. Thank you. I appreciate this apology a lot. Drake's in the chat for this guy. What a Chad. Reformed absolute Chad. Thank you. That's really nice. You really didn't have to do that, especially if it wasn't in my chat. But I think that's also why sometimes I like to speak out on the weird behavior that occurs sometimes. So,
MDMA in your life,
yeah.
Mr. Depp?
maybe it'll make some people
Actually,
think
not
twice.
many,
Like
not
you,
that
so
many
thank you.
times. I would say in my lifetime, maybe in my lifetime, MDMA, 6, 7, maybe.
And how much MDMA have you done on those occasions?
Okay.
Not enough to properly, well, not enough to properly experience what the
Sex?
chemicals are supposed to do to you.
For
Have
starters,
you ever
that-
consumed 8 to 10 MDMA pills at
sad.
once?
No, ma'am. No, I have not.
And why is that?
guys, if someone took 8 to 10 MDMA pills, would they
'Cause
die?
I'm dead.
Sorry, I had
I'm
spicy
pretty sure
food.
I'm dead.
Would they implode or something?
I think one would die.
That sounds.
Yes.
Oh,
Probably
bro,
rather quickly.
he's listening.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you some pictures from the home in Australia
He's
that Ms. Heard
listening.
testified about.
Sure.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit
Whoa.
1817,
Yo, me and
which
Johnny
is
just
already
have
in
a
evidence?
connection. I'm sorry, I'm not unbiased anymore.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize
Don't
what's
you
depicted
guys think he kind of objectively, it makes her look stupid to claim that he took an amount of drugs that would have killed him?
in this photograph?
Yes, I do. That's the downstairs bar of the
no.
house we rented in Australia.
Depends on how big and pure.
And can you please show the jury where you were sitting
Maybe
when Ms.
she
Heard
thought it
threw
was all M, but it was
the 2 vodka
other
bottles
stuff
at
too.
you?
If I touch this thing, it'll make a
Yes, it
mark.
will.
Yes. Okay. So this chair
He's vying pure, he's rich. Facts.
here was over here, and it was in pretty much when I was turned around. They were on a swivel, so when I was turned around towards the bar, I'm facing the bar. When I turned around this way, this chair here was in pretty much exactly the same position as this chair. It was when I was facing Miss Heard, who was, let's say she was, if you're looking at the photograph, she would be about here.
Could you
I'm
draw
so
a line in the
confused 'cause
direction
I can't
where Ms.
see
Heard
the
was
photograph.
relative to where you were sitting?
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm sitting here,
Yo, I am so surprised that as the trial goes on, she gets a little cockier with every day. She used to just hold the same face. And now she's like, well, no, actually, this is stupid. What I said was true. And you know what? If you asked me like a week or two ago, I would have said, hey, yo, if he can smirk and laugh, she can smirk and laugh. But unfortunately, she's just been caught out in so many lies. Is embarrassing. Is embarrassing. Like not even embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
she was over here,
Bro,
back here.
Not even. Now it's
Approximately
like
how far
she's
away from Miss
smiling
Heard,
while
or
rolling
from
her eyes.
you was Miss Heard, if you can recall?
I would say it was probably 10, 12, 15
She
feet,
said-
maybe 10 feet, 12 feet.
And approximately where was your hand when the vodka bottle hit it?
It was leaning. My arm was, sorry, my arm was leaning
Don't
on
use
the,
me as an example.
marble
No.
bar. Right
Okay,
there,
I need to
the
listen to the details.
Imaginary seat is, and leaning, kind of just leaning back and looking at Miss Heard. She just walked away with the second bottle. I mean, she walked this way when she threw the first bottle, which is actually visible
Can
in
you
the
please circle
background
where
on the
the
floor.
first? Yeah. Could you please circle where the first bottle
Oh,
is?
sorry, excuse me. All that is the exploded first bottle that went past my went past my head, and the second bottle hit right up here where my hand was resting on the marble bar.
Can we please
I'm
pull up
really
defendant's
excited to see the
exhibit
cross. There's a
1820?
cross, right? Because they're acting like, ooh, we gonna
Mr.
God
Depp, do you recognize
him.
what's depicted in this photograph?
But,
This is behind that very bar.
I guess we'll see. No spoilers.
What do you see on the floor in this picture?
I see what looks to me like some kind of napkin. It looks like sullied, soiled blood. I don't know. And I see glass in the
That's a
corner,
good one.
blood obviously on the
I'll give you that.
floor, and a towel leaning up on some something.
Do you know how that bloody tissue got on the floor?
My best guess.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustain.
Ooh, they got one.
Do you know how the blood got on the floor, Mr. Depp?
I'm pretty well. I know how the blood got on the floor. It came from my dripping finger, so that's why the tissue is. I'm 99.9%
They didn't
sure
cross
since
yet?
it is.
Oh my God.
It looks like it's got blood on it as well. Is what I held my finger held my finger.
I
with.
did catch the discussion about the witness.
Do you see the wall on the left side of the photograph?
I do.
Was there a wall-mounted phone on that wall?
On the left side of the photo. No, I didn't. No.
They should have
Not that I
asked
recall,
the
no.
guy that worked there. Because that's a big difference in
Could we
both
please
of their
pull up defendant's exhibit
testimonies.
394, which is already in evidence?
Testimonies,
Yes, ma'am.
whether there is a wall-mounted phone or not.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this text message?
I do.
And what is this message?
It's a text
She is
about
as
the
full of
kid
shit
burn.
as a Christmas goose. I'm gonna use that one in my Valorant games,
I'm trying just reading through.
bruv.
Yeah, this is my text to Dr.
I got
Cooper,
it. I'm writing that one
had
down.
just
Hold
happened
on.
to be in town,
Hold up.
telling him that I've had it and that I just lost a finger.
I'm done. No more. The constant insults, the demeaning, belittling, most heartbreaking spew that is only released from a malicious, evil, and vindictive C word. But you know what? Far more hurtful than her venomous and degrading, endless educational ranting is her hideously and purposeful, hurtful tirades and her goddamn shocking treatment of the man she was meant to love above all. Oh my God. I'm actually tearing up. That's sad as fuck. Here's the real deal, mate. Her obsession with herself is far more important. She is so effing ambitious. She's so desperate for success and fame. That's probably why I was acquired, mate. Although she has hammered me with what a sad old man has... Wait, I actually don't... I'm just guessing that's an old, but I don't know. Cohen has done me the most cruel of favors. Who's Cohen? I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to a hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything. Who's Cohen?
Fingertip.
How long after your finger had been injured did you send this text message, if you can recall?
It's hard to tell because I'm going to look at the timestamp. It says delivered 3/7/2015, 5 o'clock. But I know that because of Australia time, it was the 8th.
Oh, the doctor.
And it was probably, the whole thing lasted probably
Yeah, he
until about 2
said I
p.m.
cut the top of my middle
or so.
finger off.
When that was when Kipper was called, Jerry was brought in. Jerry Judge, sorry, excuse me.
But I think he was saying
So do you
that
have an
to
estimate as
protect
to
her?
how long after your finger had actually been injured that you sent this message?
I don't think it was very
That's
long. I
what
think
he
it was
claims.
probably within the next. No, I'm sure it was in the next half hour or so. I would have had to sneak
patting my own
into
ear.
a bathroom, lock myself in to type this out.
And how were you able to send this text message to Dr. Kipper in the state that you were in?
Well, he wasn't available at the time, so just sort of thumb your way through, don't you?
How long
What's that
after sending
pink
this text
Post-it
message did you
note?
see Dr. Kipper?
Oh my god, I almost said
I don't
misheard,
recall,
but I
think it
really, I
took them
meant to say
probably
misheard. I didn't
30
mean
minutes
it.
or more, 30 to 40 minutes to get there.
What's that pink
And
Post-it
what did
note,
Dr. Kipper
misheard?
do when he first arrived at the home?
Oh, the first thing he wanted to do is inspect.
No, I really, I
the
didn't mean to.
damage
It's
of
just
my
been
finger,
said so many times at this point.
and try and figure out exactly what had happened, how it happened.
And what did you tell Dr. Kipper about how your finger had been injured?
Objection, Your Honor.
May we
Per
approach?
se, we've discussed this several times.
I do feel like if he's already talking a lot of shit about her, I feel like he would have just said she cut my finger off, but I do also understand it would be a lot to say. Like, it might get them in a lot of trouble. It might get her in a lot of trouble. It would further overcomplicate the situation. But yeah. Jazz, thanks for subbing. I'm Crystal, thank you. Would that, I don't know, what would happen? Would that get her in legal trouble? Actually, I kind of retract that because I assume Johnny, having been a celebrity for so much of his life, probably knows the legal ramifications of even sharing that information with someone else, because then it has to be reported and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Oh, thanks for watching. She's talking her through text. Does mean you would throw her under the bus for cutting her finger off? Hard to disagree. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, but when I really think about it, it would make sense for her to be protecting her in that moment. I think also from like the perspective of like a normal person, I wouldn't really know what it would entail to tell my doctor that or someone that. So I could understand him protecting her.
Mr. Depp, when Dr.
Do we know if he has told anyone else at that time that it was her? And to be honest, okay, so I feel like there's this version of Johnny that a lot of people have testified to, which is especially him when he's sober, like really, really kind, charming, generous, etc., etc. And I kind of see hints of that in his texts as well, but you also see hints of a little crazy in some of his crazier texts. But anyways, that side of him, I can imagine that really nice side of him wanting to protect her, because I feel like he was the type who's like, we should keep everything private in our relationship. And I think that's also like a way that he romanticized the relationship, because especially when like you're a celebrity and people want to hear every little detail of your life ever, you probably just like, you probably feel the need to keep everything private. And if you were to find out that your partner was leaking that kind of thing, it would feel like the biggest betrayal ever. Do you relate to that? I actually do. I do. So I understand from that perspective, it makes you want to be just as loyal and just as secretive and keep things private with that other person because you know that the alternative is the whole world knows everything, and that is, well, that's just not how you want to live your life when you're in the public eye.
Kipper was treating your finger. What did you tell him about how your finger became injured?
So, yeah, someone just called her a C word, and in the same text message protecting her by lying, saying that he himself cut his finger off. I don't know if you're saying that these are two different things, but I was initially a little bit, like, I felt like those were two contrasting elements. But when I think about it, it is very different to shit talk someone than to say, like, the worst things of it all. Like, you know those things that you can't take back? You can't take back claiming that someone physically abused you or cut your finger off. Even me, let me know if you guys agree, but what I've learned over the years is, like, when I'm fighting with someone, whether it be someone I'm interested with or interested in, or even just a friend, when you're talking about these things to other people, you need to do it in a way that's not gonna make them hate that person. Because otherwise, like, you can't take that shit back. What if you guys make up, you know? So if Johnny was to admit to someone else, like, she cut off my finger, they would all be pushing him to divorce her, to whatchamacallit, press charges. And that's something he can't take back. So I do understand him wanting to protect her. Like, I wouldn't argue against that.
I told him that there was obviously, I mean, when you saw the
He did not say he did it himself. You're
damage in
reading
the
the
house
text
and
wrong.
everything, the blood everywhere, I mean,
But it said, I'm so very sad. I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to a hospital. I'm so embarrassed. What do you mean?
obviously there was serious damage.
Cut could also mean that
done.
he has a cut.
I-
Oh, well, yeah.
There would be no
Yeah,
point
yeah.
in lying
I
to
guess
the
I
man
was
he'd
more
been
so
through
saying that
with-
he
with me
specified, or not that he didn't
and,
specify
as I
that it
said
was her.
before, I told him that she had thrown a bottle of
I get what you guys are saying, that it's kind of like I broke my leg. I get what you're saying.
vodka and smashed and cut my finger off, the tip of my finger. Just,
I was
big
just
chunk.
speaking to the idea of
I
him
miss it.
wanting to protect her. I would understand that.
Mr. Depp, you heard Ms. Heard testify
Especially being in
about
the
an alleged
position that
incident of
he's
abuse on
in.
your
I think it's a lot easier for us as, like, you know, normal people that don't have TMZ on their ass
honeymoon. Do you remember that?
to
I
share
remember testifying
things.
to that,
And
yes.
even then, sometimes
And
you want to be careful.
When
about
did
stuff
you
like
and
that.
Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon together?
I believe it was somewhere
You
in
missed
the
the
neighborhood
joke?
of August.
What joke?
In the house and everything, the blood everywhere. I mean, obviously there was serious damage done. There would be no point in lying to the man. He'd been through it with me, and as I said before, I told him that she had thrown a bottle of vodka and smashed and cut my finger off, the tip of my finger. Just
Wait, so he did say that to him?
a good chunk. I miss it.
Do you think Amber
Mr.
and
Depp,
Johnny
you
get
heard Ms.
back
Heard
together after
testify
this?
about an alleged incident of abuse on your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
I remember testifying.
Yes,
to
in
that,
person. Got it.
And when did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon?
You missed the joke, bro. What's the joke?
In the house and everything.
Okay,
blood
I'm just gonna
everywhere. I mean,
pay
obviously
attention.
there was serious damage done. There would be no point in lying to the man. He'd been through it with me, and as I said before, I told him that she had thrown a bottle of vodka and smashed
It was after this,
and
right?
cut my finger off, the tip of my finger. Just but a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
I miss it.
Mr. Depp, you heard Ms. Heard testify about an alleged incident of
miss it.
abuse on your
I
honeymoon.
thought he
Do you
got it
remember
back,
that?
though. I thought he got part
I
of it
remember
attached.
testifying to that, yes.
And when did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon together?
I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of August, because I just finished the film. Maybe end of July, August. I'm not quite good on the exact date.
Do you recall the year?
It was 2000. 15, I believe.
And where did you and Miss Heard go on your honeymoon?
We took the Orient Express from Bangkok, Thailand to Singapore.
And what happened while you and Miss Heard were together on the Orient Express?
There were
Amber.
times when it was very agreeable, very
Sorry,
nice.
what? Was the lawyer saying something?
And then there were times when something had become dissatisfactory for her, and she would
Sorry, for who?
start the
Oh, okay.
rant, the blooming of a fight would be on deck there, and at one point, it didn't. I mean, I don't remember it lasting long at all. I just remember that I took a pretty good shot to the face, to the eye, to somewhere up here, so I had a bit of a shiner. But it all ended, and then everything got fine again. We'd go to
Damn,
dinner,
she
and it was all
right.
fine.
Did Miss Heard ever apologize to you for giving you the shiner?
I don't recall.
The
Can
shiner.
we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 162, which is already in evidence?
The shiner.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this photograph?
I do. It was with the chef and the maitre d' and the staff were asking if they could take a photo with us, and they'd been very
Very
kind. They'd given us
cute.
a
And
private dinner card.
So where was this photograph taken?
That was in the that looks like it's in the, yes, that's towards the back of the Orient Express. That's in the back train bar compartment, and just out back
She's
you can
passing
smoke on
notes.
the
She's supposed
on
to.
the sort of caboose or whatever.
And what, if any, injuries do you have in this photograph?
Yeah, he does
I
look
think
like
the eyes
red all
a little
under
bit
here.
bugged out, if you will. It's yeah.
How did that happen?
I really want
These
to
things
see
could
a
happen very
cross.
quickly. If you disagreed,
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive. She just asked, how did that happen?
I believe he was about to explain.
Well, us sustain the objection.
Okay. So, Mr. Depp, specifically, how did the injury in this photograph occur?
I'm sure it hit me. Is that better?
Does this picture accurately reflect what you look like on that date?
I don't look at myself much, but it certainly looks like me with a black eye.
Does this picture appear to have been photoshopped in any way?
No,
think so.
no. I think it would be difficult to photograph or to start getting into sort of digital processing with a number of people in the shot, especially in a wide shot.
Could we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301? And this is a new one, Your Honor, so this is not in evidence.
Okay, thank you.
Do we know whether there will be a cross, or we're unsure?
Mr. Depp,
or
do you
there will
recognize
for
what's
sure
reflected in this
not be
photograph?
one?
Yes, this is the staff. It's the manager and his staff at the
sure.
Raffles Hotel in Singapore.
For sure will be.
And before we left, they asked if they could take a photograph with us.
And when was this photograph taken?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust anything Amber says in regards to photographs. After she said those two photos were taken at different times of the day, when they are the same photo and one has the brightness turned up, I'm sorry, sweetie, but you don't know how photographs work. And I feel like she probably looks at something and I kid you not, like I think she might suffer some kind of delusions, because maybe that's why she's warping things so much. Because to any normal person, like literally any normal person, they could look at those photos and be like, oh, they're the same. But for her, she's on some heavy dose copium. She's like, no. Yeah, I really think she believes her own lies. She's like, these are different. They're taken at different times of the day. And she might look at that and be like, that never happened. It's photoshopped. Just because she is believing her own lies, and that's the only way her brain can continue to function.
Well, that would have been, we were off the Orient Express. We stayed in
Whoa.
Raffles, I believe, a
Whoa.
couple of
Did
days,
she
few
get louder?
days. And then from there we flew to San Francisco.
So this photograph was taken after the photograph we just looked at?
This photograph was taken after the photograph in the dining car of the train, yes.
Your Honor, I move Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301 into
All right,
evidence.
any objection?
Oh, happy honeymoon. So it's
Any-
31st of October.
Any objection?
No objection, Your
All
Honor.
right, 1301 is an evidence can be published to the jury.
That's me,
Mr.
the
Depp,
jury.
what, if any, injuries do you see on your face in this photograph?
I see pretty much the same. I see that
I see a little thing
the
under
area in
his
here
cheek.
has been, well, is
But it
swollen
looks
and,
pretty healed, I think.
yeah, there's a bit of a shiner there.
Thank you. We can take this down. Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that she punched you in the staircase incident because she thought of Kate Moss in the stairs?
Do I remember saying that?
Yes.
Yes, I do. 3 times. Yes, I do.
Do you have any understanding as to what Ms. Heard was referring to?
Yes, I do.
And
As Kate Moss, Kate testified, it was many, many years ago. And exactly what
I did
happened
catch
is
Kate Moss's
what she said
testimony,
happened.
actually.
I recall speaking with Ms. Heard about
And I believe her 100%.
that very incident
I don't think, like she said, it didn't
because
happen.
of the
She described it well.
downpouring of rain, because it was raining very
I don't think
heavily.
it happened.
Kate slipped.
But also, Amber did say, I heard this rumor. And obviously, the rumor makes him look bad. So I'm glad he was able to clarify that with the person the rumor is allegedly involving. So
And
that was
I
really,
recall
really
the
helpful
story
for his
to her.
side.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
may we approach Your Honor?
Did she say it happened for sure? Sounds like hearsay to talk about a rumor. I guess it kind of is, but she did nonetheless. But I do recall her referring to it as a rumor, so. Nonetheless,
Mr. Depp.
I
What
think
did
it
you
was
tell Ms.
really
Heard about
good for
the
Johnny's
staircase,
side to
with
clear
Kate
that
Moss?
up.
I'll make it easy for Mr. Rottenborn. Ms. Heard took the story and turned it into a very...
Oh, someone said she didn't say rumor in direct. She said it in cross, and that's true. In her initial testimony before being crossed, she just said something along the lines of like, I just thought of Kate Moss, and so I pushed him. But then in cross, they elaborated on that, and she was like, oh, it was just a rumor that I
incident,
heard. A big
all in
rumor.
her mind. There was never a moment where I pushed Kate down any set of stairs. Yet she's spewed this 3 times before.
Objection, Your Honor. Ms. Heard simply testified that she'd heard a rumor, and that's
What's a
not
rumor?
responsive to the question.
Sir, hold on. It's
Sorry.
objection. I'll overrule the
Ms.
objection.
States the facts and
I'll
evidence.
overrule the objection.
Damn.
Sorry, I was drawn by Mr. Rottenborn's voice. What was it?
So what
He's
specifically
charming
have you
even
actually
the
told
other
Ms. Heard
side.
about
Sheesh.
the incident with Miss Moss and the stairs?
Very simply that we were in Jamaica. I had left our bungalow about 3 minutes prior to her. I was standing outside, and suddenly rain starts just coming down like it's, a monsoon.
bungalow,
And then I remember looking and seeing Kate coming out the door, and there were 3 little wooden stairs, and she slipped, her legs went up, and she landed directly on her coccyx and her lower back. So, and she was obviously physically in pain, and she was hurt, she was crying. So I ran over and grabbed her to make sure she was all right. That's it. That's all I ever. That's the whole story. But then the rumor of it.
I actually really.
I'd never heard a rumor of that
I
before.
feel for him.
Miss Heard grabbed hold of it like that. Sorry.
Mr. Depp, we heard testimony from Miss Heard's sister
To have
Whitney
an
during this trial.
incident
Do you
like
remember
that turn into
Yes.
you
And
hurt
how would
her
you describe your
when he was
relationship
just
with
helping?
Whitney when you were in a relationship with Miss Heard?
I liked Whitney very much. Initially, when I first met her, I liked her very much, and grew to love Whitney. Very much. Because I always, it seemed, Whitney, Amber's sister, Whitney seemed to always get the sort of dirty end of the stick. And I felt bad for her for that, because it wasn't new. It had been there for life. And that was seemed pretty obvious. So I took to Whitney very, very quickly, very easily. She was a very sweet kid. She was wonderful.
What do you mean that Whitney got the dirty end of the stick?
It was kind of a
Well,
strange
you
combination
know,
of
when your
loving
siblings...
sister, trusted sister and friend, and then lackey, and then, you know, either
Who's lackey?
the punching bag or the dartboard, or the recipient of some rather demeaning and ugly words, or she would have wine thrown in her face.
And who was the source of those demeaning words and the wine that you just referenced?
That would be Amber Heard, her sister.
And how do you know that?
Well, I witnessed quite a lot of it. The wine in the face was something that happened in New York, which I think that even made it into the papers. I believe that even made it into the papers. It was in an elevator.
How did you first learn about that incident?
Miss Heard told me in detail.
She's like, really?
What else did you
Did
observe?
that really
of,
happen?
Miss Heard and her
Well,
sister
girl,
Whitney's
was that not
interactions
in the
during your
paper?
relationship with Miss Heard?
They were just constantly up and down, but I could sense, I could feel that Whitney was trying to please her sister, trying to be up to snuff, and it just seemed like she got shot down.
Objection, Your Honor.
This is
It's
the
beyond
same
the scope of
test.
the
Testimony.
foundation
This
for
is the
knowledge of
same
Your Honor,
sister
I
who
asked
testified.
What he
yes.
observed, between them. I think this is responsive to that.
In his testimony as to what Whitney felt is
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What do you guys think changed
Did you ever see Miss Heard physically attack
for
Whitney?
Amber to be reacting
No,
this
I've never
way
seen
now?
any full-on blowouts, physical blowouts between them. Tons of verbal
objection
blowouts.
beyond the scope.
Overruled.
I've certainly seen Miss Heard grab Whitney, push her around. There were there were half a dozen times when some of us
She
who
doesn't
were
care
in
about
the
public opinion
general
anymore?
vicinity would have to leave.
Actually, I'd agree. I
this is at
think
Orange
she
when
must be so
Whitney and
confident
Amber
that
were
she'll
living at
win
Orange.
that she's just reacting
Whitney and
however
her
she
boyfriend
wants.
at the time, Sean Krajewski, and we had to leave the apartment and wait in the car while they fought.
And when you say fought, do you mean
Physical.
physically or...
Physical.
And when you said Miss... When you say fought, do you mean physically or...
Physical.
I'm so surprised she's making that face.
And when you said Miss Heard would
Holy.
push Whitney around, do you mean that physically push her or metaphorically?
Both.
Aww.
You heard Whitney testify that she lived in Penthouse 4 at the Eastern Columbia building for a time, correct?
That is correct, yes.
How did Whitney come to live in Penthouse 4?
My recollection when Whitney first came to stay at the Eastern Columbia building in Penthouse 4 was she and her boyfriend, Sean, had broken up. And she needed a place to go. And so Amber asked if she could stay in Penthouse 4, and I said, well, of course, you know.
How long did Whitney live in Penthouse 4?
It was well over a year, on and off.
Someone just called her cheekbones.
Did you ever ask
goofy.
Whitney to move out of Penthouse 4?
No, I did not, no.
Why did Whitney ultimately move out of Penthouse 4?
Objection, foundation.
Imagine getting
his
surgery
apartment,
and
Your Honor,
someone
he was
goes, you
living there.
look goofy.
Whitney moved out of Penthouse 4 long before the
Oh,
marriage.
I would just...
And it was due to an argument that Ms. Heard and Whitney
Control-Z,
had
Control-Z.
which had to do with Whitney working at the Art of Elysium with Jennifer Howell and those people. And Amber asked her to leave, get out.
Where did Whitney live when she moved out of Penthouse 4?
My understanding is she went to live with Jennifer Howell.
Your Honor, I know you
Jennifer Howell's
anticipated having a motion at noon.
statement was wild.
Okay. How much longer interrupt do you have?
I have a bit.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead.
They're actually wild.
Mr. Depp, do you recall hearing testimony during Ms. Heard's case from Mr. Mandel?
Yes, I do.
And who is that?
Mr. Mandel is my former business manager of 17 and a half years, who
Sorry, someone
At a
said Elon
certain
embryos
point,
of
I,
Megalol.
discovered had been embezzling quite a lot of money. So I had to take action against him and he and my
the
lawyer of
manager.
17 and a half years, as they were in cahoots, as it were. And so yes, Joel Mandel is, and they settled their case with me. They made their settlement. But yes, that was a very, Joel Mandel is a
Cahoots.
very
That
bitter man
chess.
who ended up with a lot of money that I worked hard for over the years.
Do you recall Mr. Mandel testifying in this case that you do not spend very much money on charity?
That I don't, sorry?
That you do not spend very much money on charity?
Objection, Your Honor.
Use my approach. Okay.
Huh? Interesting.
Mr. Depp, just to remind you, my question was, what is your response to Mr. Mandel's testimony that you do not spend very much on charity?
I lowered it.
My
Should be
response to that is
1.5 now.
Mr. Mandel is a very bitter man. And one thing about that, myself personally, that with regard to charity donations, sending money to a charity, I prefer, I would rather that my name were not on it. I don't want the name to be the important thing or the thing that people talk about. So when I donate money, I donate without my name being involved because I don't see that that's important. My name being there in terms of money. Now, if I am able to visit hospitals or if I'm able to meet with Make-A-Wish children, I've held on to relationships that I've held on to within the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Children's Hospital and various other places. Then obviously my name is involved. When we held premieres in Leicester Square for several films, Charlie and the
Objection, Your Honor.
Chocolate Factory.
Again, beyond the scope of his response to Mr. Mandel's testimony.
I believe this is in response to Mr. Mandel.
Overrule the objection.
So basically, when it was a public, let's call it donation or whatever, I would talk to the studio. I would talk to Disney. I would talk to Warner Brothers. I would talk to whoever the studio was, well before the premiere, and make the premiere a benefit that would. Once we did what we benefited, we did a premiere for Great Ormond Street Hospital. We did a couple of benefit premieres for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I mean, if you can turn a premiere with that many thousands and thousands and thousands of people there into a benefit, it works and it helps. But it wasn't presented under my name. You know, it was Disney's doing this or Warner Brothers is doing this. I'm not looking for the pat on the back, as it were. If I can make it happen, great. But I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need the adulation. I don't need the attention.
I think a lot of you guys are saying, like, you're eating this up too much. Like, you know, how can you know? But actually, the reason I believe him is because I function the exact same way. If I donate, I don't post about it unless it's relating to my audience in some way. Like when I was able to do the $100,000 scholarship thing with Intel, that was because I was able to do, I think, like half of it, and they were able to match it. So, you know, this is in collaboration with another company. But when I donate money, I just donate it on my own accord and I do it. Because I also feel like sometimes when you start donating for the PR, it takes away how genuine that action really is. Because then you're really just doing it so you're able to talk about it. I feel like things like that almost impact your soul and your mindset in a way. So I completely believe this. Yeah, it becomes not sincere anymore. And man, I hate to say, Amber is looking like the complete opposite right now. The absolute complete opposite, because she thinks pledging and donating are the same thing. And it is very clear that she pledged the exact amount of her divorce settlement so that people don't call her a gold digger. And, dude, there's just so many layers to it. Not only did she pledge that amount, she didn't even fulfill it right away. She was like, I'll pay it off later in my life. But the whole point is so that you give all that money right now, not so that you can profit off of it and invest it and then make money and then donate in the future. Like, that's so disingenuous.
Did you hear Ms. Heard testify that one of the charities she donated a portion of?
Yes.
Published to the jury.
Cross time!
Mr. Depp, this is the picture that your counsel showed you both in your prior, or showed.
I will finish Johnny's his direct testimony later. Hey, no audio. Audio engineer Andes, turn it back on. Hello? Hey, audio guy. Get it together. Hello, audio. She didn't actually get the whole money from the divorce, right? No, she did.
I'm sorry, which number was it?
This is a
she
new
did.
exhibit, Your Honor, 1905.
And that's defendants?
The TMZ
Defendant's
guy
Exhibit
didn't come in yet,
1905.
right? They just talked about whether or not he'd be allowed.
Ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
Or you want to put it in evidence? Okay, any objection to 1905?
With the comments,
Oh, he
we have no
did?
objection to the photograph
Wait.
itself. We would ask the comments be redacted as
Ooh.
hearsay.
But I'm confused.
Well,
I'm reading very different things in chat.
I'd like
Anyways,
to at
let's
least
just watch for
question
now.
the witness about the
I
comments.
have no objection to the photograph being published.
Okay, well, let's wait a minute. Mr. Depp, you see here, these are 4 pictures of you, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and below it
Clover
indicates they were
and
taken on July
Muslim, thanks for subbing.
24th, 2015 in Bangkok, Thailand, correct?
Objection,
Sorry,
lack
where?
of foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
in Bangkok, Thailand,
Sorry.
so before the train ride.
Correct, before the train ride, because you didn't get on the train ride till the 25th, is that right?
Somewhere in that area, I guess.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish this to the jury.
All right,
If it's just the photographs, we have no
all
objection.
right, if you want to redact the, just have the photographs in it?
Sure. We'll do 1905.
5, but just with redaction, which will be fine.
Yeah, the TMZ lawyer was there to try to stop it, but the TMZ guy is not there yet. That was my understanding of the situation as well.
I think there's still some on the bottom. I'm just,
It's just redact that. Yeah.
Dark Knight, thank you for subbing. Oh, I hate that audio. Bruh.
Amber Turd.
Is someone talking about her in the audience? In the gallery? Was that the lawyer? Mr. Willie, thanks for subbing. Wasn't she the one that starred in that one movie? What's it called?
Aquaman.
Yes, that one, of course. I've got 2 jokes and 2 jokes only. I've got 2 sound bites and 2 sound bites only.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's it.
right,
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you please scroll down to the bottom 2 pictures there?
Joke 2 out of 2.
Mr. Depp, in these pictures that were taken before you got on the train ride for your honeymoon, where you claim that Miss Heard hit you and gave you a black eye, you have the exact same shadow or sunburn or mark under your left eye. The exact same mark, don't you?
That's the, when you get a side light, you see the occipital bone. So that is the exact area.
Yep. And it's actually,
A side light will cause that
Yeah, well,
as
the
well.
picture's not being taken from the side, is it? It's being taken
No,
head
no,
on,
no, no,
isn't it?
no. The lens in front.
Yeah.
But the light.
On the side.
Right.
Will cause that occipital bone, I believe.
That's
it's called,
true.
To appear sunken.
Just like
That's
lights
true.
on the side of a train car, correct?
Objection
Well,
calls for speculation.
You can take
What?
that down, Michelle.
that was in fact in the dark.
Sus-
And I had a
sustain-
chef, I had people on either side of me, so
you could
I
wait for
don't
next-
see where the light fill is from the side there.
Mr. Depp, if you could wait for the next question. Next question.
Next
was
question.
Correct.
Even the picture your team chose to show
Green
you
gun, Don
on
Jenny,
that
deleted.
train
Thank you guys for subbing. Welcome.
isn't accurate, is it? Let's pull up.
Objection
exhibit-
calls for speculation.
Let's pull up exhibit 1859, please.
1859. Is that in evidence? or-
No, Your Honor.
1859.
I want to have other streams up just to see if they show
Mr.
different
Depp, this is
POVs.
this is the same picture, or the same, the exact same scene displayed in PX 162 that you looked at this morning, correct?
That looks like my face has been, the eyes have been photoshopped.
Oh,
I would
okay.
like to see.
So this
I would
this
like to see.
post from the Eastern and Oriental Express's Facebook page, you're saying that that's photoshopped?
I would like to see.
Is
Let's
that from
pull
their
them up
page?
side
I
by
would,
side.
sure, why wouldn't
Show
they?
us.
Let's pull them up side by side, please.
Hey,
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of this exhibit. We can just have the pictures. We don't need the.
Any objection to the picture?
Objection, lack of foundation, lack of authentication.
Is that you in the photo, Mr. Depp?
It is me, but it's clearly.
Your
it's
Honor,
been-
I'd move
it's
to strike
been-
anything after that, first of all, and would ask for admission of this photograph.
All right, just the photograph?
Yep.
You're gonna-
We maintain our lack of
Oh.
authentication, lack of foundation.
All right, over objection, I'll allow 1859 in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could I please
They
get
allowed
you
it.
to?
You need to.
they said it's him, got him. Yeah, but
Okay,
like
we
if you
have
showed
to
me some
have one,
stupid emote that someone created
that will
on
admit or ask you to admit
on
as
BTTV at me, I'd be like, yeah, that's
It is
me.
just the picture.
I already have.
But it could be
Okay,
Photoshop.
so we'll call this 1859 then.
Like, well, yeah,
So
that's
this is
me, but
Yeah, we just need
so
to.
what?
Okay.
Anyways, let's take a
We'll
look.
fix that exhibit sticker on the bottom and get you that correct 1859.
1859.
First of all, this
And
is on
Michelle, what
Facebook,
I'd like
so
to ask you to
we
do,
for sure
please,
can't
is
trust
to
it.
put the picture displayed as 1859, just was admitted into evidence, next to PX 162 that was shown to Mr. Depp this morning.
Okay. You can pop, those are both in evidence.
Okay, can you try to make them the same size, please?
Hey, can we see?
This is the exact same picture, isn't it, Mr. Depp?
Radically different quality.
Radical.
No, you answer my question.
How
Commissioner
do you know I
Bubbles.
They
wasn't
showed it here.
done? That's
You
right.
answered my question, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
That is very, very different.
Mr. Depp, you had that,
Oh, I can't believe
whatever
they didn't
mark it
show
is,
it.
whether it's a sunburn, whether it's a shadow, whether it's the light reflecting, you had that same mark on your eye
Oh,
before
this
you
looks
got on that train.
filtered.
Well, it's pretty difficult to get a sunburn on a train.
Like you can even see her
let's
face
go
is
to
really
the
smoothed
child.
out
I
and
don't look
lightened,
particularly
as
sunburned.
is
Can we see those
everything
again?
here.
pull
Seattle
up exhibit,
115 tipped $5.
one-
This
actually,
is
no,
so
let's
filtered.
talk about
Look at his
Australia
face
for a
here
little
and
bit.
Oh,
here.
good.
I mean, to be
You
fair,
testified that you've never done
you could also do a
ecstasy more than
darkening
handful of
filter on
times in
this,
your
but
life,
this
correct?
looks like
6, 7 times.
Now, you heard Ms.
This
Heard's
looks
testimony.
more
You've been
original
sitting here,
than
I
the
know you didn't
other.
Look at her, but you heard her testimony, and you heard her.
They
you
both
didn't
look a
hear her
little
say
weird
you
now.
ingested 8 to 10 all at once. She said she came down after being apart from you for some time, and
the
there were
left
8
does
to 10
not look
gone
that
from
like the
bag.
original to
Objection
me.
form compound.
The left looks
I also heard
smoothed
Ms.
out
Schultz say I reached
and
into a
photoshopped.
bag and threw and
This one
poured
does
a
look
bunch of
like a
Yep,
little more
MDMA down
rugged.
my mouth.
Correct. That's right. She didn't say you
handful.
poured 10 at one time, did she?
No, she said a handful.
Anyways, we can take a look
Okay,
later.
She's more than 10, I believe.
Okay, the fact is, Mr. Depp,
Both
you were
photoshopped.
asking for ecstasy. You who have only done
Yeah,
it
they both
6
look off
times in your
now.
life, you were asking for ecstasy and cocaine within minutes of being admitted to the hospital after suffering your finger injury, weren't you?
Objection compound.
I don't recall that I was
Overruled.
Let's
begging
pull up.
for any drugs.
Yeah, let's pull up plaintiff's or exhibit 393, please. You just said you don't recall you were begging for
It
any
looks
drugs?
like a
No, I
moldy
don't,
meme.
but
Yeah,
I
it looks
do
like a
recall
deep
being
fried
in great
meme.
pain and great distress, so
Okay,
I could have asked for a teddy bear as well.
okay. So this has been admitted, Your Honor.
This is in evidence, okay? Publish.
All tipped $2. The photo on the right is really compressed and doesn't look real at all.
And if
Why
you
are
can
we
blow
holding
up the
these
text,
photos
please,
to a
Michelle.
different standard to Amber's
In this-
photos?
Text message, Mr. Depp.
I
You were,
can't
after you
tell.
suffered your finger injury, you just testified you don't recall asking for any drugs. You're texting Nathan Holmes, your personal assistant.
Because
"Need more
also,
whiny stuff
the
ASAP,
people's
brother man,"
faces
and
here
the
just look
e-business.
way
Now,
too
we went over
smooth.
this in your
Like
cross-examination,
unnaturally.
didn't we?
Like this looks filtered, and this looks like the
If you say so,
sharpening
sir.
and the deep
And
fryer
and
was
whiny
on.
stuff is cocaine,
I would say.
and the e-business is ecstasy.
Ooh, but this one does have
already
more
said
of
that,
the
right?
roof,
Okay.
which I
So I
find
take it I didn't
odd.
recall that.
And this is
but,
cropped
Can you pull up
very
Exhibit
differently.
1817, please?
Huh. I wish they could tell us like how many pixels are
This
in these
is,
photos.
And the
Kentucky
picture that you
Fried
were
photo.
shown this morning, Mr. Depp.
Yes.
And you kind of made some illustrations on the
Oh,
picture
thank you.
and gave your account of what you see here. Mr. Depp, you testified previously that the vodka bottle that you allege cut off your finger was a handle of vodka, correct?
Should in honor myself
yes.
tip
Right, that's my second
$2.
bottle
The
there
left
was,
photo you can kinda
handle
see
on
the
it.
scar still toe.
This bottle, whatever it is, to the extent it's glass at all, that's in the corner
You can
of this
still kind
room,
of see a
that's
mark
not a
under
handle
his
of
eye
vodka.
here, yeah.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think you'll find that I said 2 bottles.
Well, actually,
wrong.
what you testified to this morning, Mr. Depp, was that the
Ooh,
bottle
she
in the
getting
corner
smug.
was the handle. And there is no other bottle in the picture, is there?
No, that's not what I testified. I testified that, may I touch the screen?
Yes.
This is glass. This is glass.
Yep. And that's not a handle. Neither of those are handles of vodka.
It's that big, it's broken. The handles up the top on those vodka bottles, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
And none, if you combine all that glass on the floor, that doesn't make up the amount of glass in a handle of vodka, does it?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm not a, you know,
When there's objection, hold on. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
There is no picture of a handle of vodka
I'm in
broken on
lower
that
more,
floor, is there,
sorry.
Mr. Depp?
I'm just trying to find a good spot.
no, I don't see it. I see glass under this chair.
The echo
here.
is in me, by the way.
Well, you testified this morning that you did see it, so it's good to get that clarification. Let's move
No, I
on.
didn't say I saw a handle.
You also testified this morning that yeah, and I want to get this. I want to.
Sorry,
make
I'm
sure
also
that
laughing
we're
with
on the same
Johnny 'cause
page
you could-
here.
you know they're
You
trying to got him.
testified earlier this morning that there was no phone in the bar
He's like,
area
"The fuck?"
downstairs. Is that what you testified to?
This is funny.
I
Got him,
don't recall
bro.
a phone in the bar area.
Okay.
I don't recall. I don't recall a Bakelite phone in the bar area where I.
Okay.
No.
Let's pull up Michelle, please. The UK
And our
Gate
teeth equals
3,
5 gifted.
page 421. Mr. Depp, we've done this drill before. This is your testimony from the UK, correct?
Can I please have,
It's this. We don't have copies for everyone. It's on the screen.
Your
right
Honor,
there.
may I please, I would like to have what he's, the testimony of the
Here,
witness.
you can have my copy.
Thank you.
Mr. Depp, you remember giving testimony in the UK trial for several days, correct?
Okay, so yeah.
Yep.
So I
And-
do remember a telephone in the bar area, and this
Yeah, well,
telephone you picked up was made of Bakelite.
this is my turn to do this, Mr. Depp.
I'm sorry.
On page 421,
By the way,
line
the
19,
lawyer actually isn't being
you were
an
asked a
asshole. They're
question,
running out
and
of
this
time.
telephone that you picked up
And
was
Johnny's
made of,
side, being
sorry, let me
smart,
go-
is trying
go
to
up on
waste their
line
time.
15. Question. At one stage, when you were in the kitchen screaming at Miss Heard, you picked up a wall-mounted telephone. Do you remember a telephone in the kitchen? Answer. No, ma'am. I remember a telephone in the bar area. Question. And this telephone that you picked up was made of Bakelite. Do you know what I mean by that? A retro telephone. Wall-mounted but retro. Answer. It was a wall-mounted telephone, but it was not Bakelite. It was a modern phone. It was plastic. Question. A phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up. Can you scroll down, please?
He did say there wasn't a wall-mounted phone, and then he said that there was, then he said that there wasn't, so...
Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up by you, held in your right hand, and you were repeatedly smashing it against the wall in your right hand. Answer, that is possible. But I do not, if that is the case, I do not believe I spent very much time on the phone. I remember ripping the phone off the wall. That was your testimony, correct?
It seems it would be yes.
Thank you. Answer my question. Thank you. Mr. Depp, you've claimed before, you've said, if I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it.
He said,
and I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. You've said that before, haven't you?
Have you a quote from me somewhere saying that?
It's my question to you. You've said that before, haven't you? Well, actually, let's refresh your recollection. Can you pull up the Ghost in the Machine article, please?
Possibly about paparazzis.
Mr. Depp, you see the picture of you on the lower left.
Yes.
Appears to be shirtless and wearing a crown, I believe. You see the long paragraph above that that starts with "in the Mark Hotel"?
Ah, yes,
You see
yes.
that?
Yes, I
At
do.
the bottom of that, does this refresh your recollection that you said, I have a lot of love inside me and a lot of anger inside me as well. If I love somebody, then I'm going to love them. If I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it, and I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. Did I read that right?
Where did he say that?
You did read that right, yes.
Thank you. You can take that down, Michelle, please. Now, Mr. Depp, you've also claimed that
Where was this?
you've said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually,
It's a
that she
movie
is
quote.
rightfully yours.
No,
Haven't
but
you?
what is the context?
Could you repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you
respect-
repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with, you've remarked, I need, I want, I take. Haven't you?
Equally as ludicrous, no.
Can you pull up DX883, please?
Oh my god.
You can pull it what you like. I've never
But
said
I
those
feel like he
words.
wouldn't, the
There's
lawyer
not
wouldn't
enough
say that he
hubris
said
in
that if he wasn't
me to say anything like
right
that.
away going to show that he
883,
said
Your
that.
Honor.
It's not-
DX
is it evidence?
It is not admitted yet.
Okay, 88.
Mr. Depp, these are text messages from you to Stephen Deuters. on
Deuters?
February 22nd,
What is up with everybody's
2017,
name?
correct?
Amber Turd.
And Duders? What is this?
This looks nothing like me. You might have mistaken.
Mr. Depp, we can show the full unredacted. You've looked at a number of text messages in this case, and the words him as the identifier, that's you, correct? In every text message we've seen in this case.
Yeah, sure. It still doesn't mean it hasn't been screwed with. That's not anything that I've ever said or written.
You want to see the whole thing unredacted? We can look at that too.
No, because you could have typed it up last night. No.
Yeah. I can assure you I didn't type it up last night, Mr. Depp. Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 883.
All right, any objection?
Objection on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
All right, well, do you want to approach for a moment? Let's take a look.
Oh. Okay, I don't want to be BM, but do you guys think Johnny has memory issues? I can't say he for sure does, but I suspect he might. And that's what's concerning about situations like this. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. Like, I still feel like Amber...
Turtle Shell 928 tipped $2. Is it me or do you all keep hearing Amber Turd every now and then? Ha ha.
Amber Turd.
I do hear that sometimes. Weird. Weird. Do you want Amber to win? I don't want shit. Leave me alone. Keep me out of this. I'm just spectating. But it's scary.
883 in evidence as redacted.
When you have
you.
one
Mr.
person
Depp,
who's very
you're
much a
aware that these are text
narcissist
messages.
and liar and
You
delusional,
can see the bottom right where it
and
says
the
Depp
other
and then it
is,
has a
I
number.
mean, to be fair, I think has a
8129.
kinder
Those are
soul,
produced
but also
by
has
you in
memory
this litigation.
issues.
You understand that,
How are you
right?
supposed
I
to?
understand that, sir. Yeah.
All right, Michelle, could you please,
I'm so glad I'm not in the jury.
let's take a look at the top text first. Mr. Depp, on February 22nd, 2017, you texted Mr. Deuters, right, exactly. Molly's pussy is rightfully mine. Should I not just bust in and remove its hinges tonight? Did I read that right?
You read it, right?
And the one beneath that,
That's suspicious.
you say, I
That's
want to
weird.
change her understanding of what it is like to be thrashed about like a pleading mackerel. And then in all caps, you write, I need, I want, I take. Is that right?
You read it right. But I did not write that.
Okay.
Perhaps someone else.
You wrote
had
every
my
other
phone.
text that you produced that came from you in this litigation, didn't you?
No
Not
BM, but the
necessarily.
texting does
Sometimes
look
you can
exactly
give
like
your
him.
phone to people and they
Now,
text
when you
from
got
it.
off that plane
Excuse me?
from Boston,
Sorry?
when you got off the plane from Boston, you knew Miss Heard was angry with you, didn't you?
It was pretty much a given.
Objection, calls for speculation.
And
said
you understood
mackerel?
her to be angry, right?
I mean, he would.
She was always angry, yes.
And you asked Mr. Deuters, same person, you can take this down, Michelle, please, thank you.
I
Same
feel
person
like
that you texted in that
Molly
last
is
exhibit. You asked Mr.
Denver,
Deuters
but
to
I don't know.
communicate with her on your behalf, correct?
Or maybe Molly.
I don't know what
I'm
you're talking
confused.
about. You'll have to explain.
And if I hear
You asked
Mr.
Mr.
Deuters one
Deuters
more
to
time,
communicate with Miss Heard by text to speak to her about the incident, correct?
About what incident?
To speak to her about the plane flight,
The plane?
the Boston plane.
The Boston plane. So you're saying that
I know Molly is a drug, but he spoke of it as if it was a person.
influenced Mr. Deuters. I told him that he had to write this, and I told him that he had to write that. Is that what you're saying?
No. It wasn't uncommon for Mr. Deuters to text to communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
Objection, calls for speculation.
He was your personal assistant. Mr. Deuters was your personal assistant, correct?
I had two personal assistants at the time.
He was one of them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Deuters was one of them, yes, sir.
Right, and it wasn't uncommon for you to
If
ask
I had
Mr.
an
Deuters
assistant
to
and their last name
communicate
was
with Miss Heard on your
Deuters, I
behalf,
would have to
correct?
fire them. I'm sorry.
It
I'm sorry. I
wasn't
don't even know if
uncommon
that's
for
legal, but
any
I
of them
can't
to
do it.
communicate.
I can't
with
be having
Miss Heard on
laughing
my
fits
behalf
20 times a
if I
day
were on
just talking to
set
him. I can't.
or unavailable.
It's unproductive.
Or any of that.
Or if Miss Heard and you had a fight, you would sometimes have them communicate with Miss Heard on your behalf, correct?
I think my crew caught on very quickly that
Just a yes or no,
would
Mr.
be
Depp.
necessary for them to.
No, just a yes or no. It was not uncommon after
Objection,
you and Miss
Your
Heard
Honor.
had
I'd ask that he be allowed to finish his answer.
yes or no question, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead and ask your question again.
Thank you, Your Honor. It wasn't uncommon for you to have one of your personal assistants communicate with Miss Heard after you and her had a fight.
I disagree because you're insinuating that I had them do it, and you don't know that.
After the Boston plane flight, you had Mr. Deuters communicate with Miss Heard, correct?
When I'm asked what to do, I said
Savage,
placate
Lemon
her,
P3,
just
thank you guys
placate
for
her
the
like
subs.
we always do.
And you told him, send her whatever message you need to send to
I'm
placate,
sorry, he's
correct?
sorry, he feels bad, yes, because any other answer, it would turn into World War III.
Okay. Can you pull up Exhibit 229, please?
Hey, yo,
Your Honor,
Amber's
I
legal
think you
team.
know where I'm going here, and based on Mr. Depp's testimony, I'd ask move for the admission of Exhibit 229.
Your Honor, can we please approach?
Sure.
Aaron_North 2 tipped $2.10. A pleading mackerel?
Bro, I don't know. This lawyer is way too aggressive. How do you take this seriously if he's speaking like that? You need to understand that each side has a certain amount of allotted time that they are able to ask questions and show evidence and blah, blah, blah. And that Amber's team currently has like less than half of the amount that Johnny's team has. So it's very important for them to speed up. That's why he's getting
Mr. Depp,
aggressive and frustrated, because Johnny's team
You were
is
pretty
just
angry
trying
after
to
Miss Heard
waste
got her
time.
temporary restraining
It's
order.
kind of
weren't
like
you?
a sports game.
Angry.
You know,
I was
it's
more
like
than anything, I
Valorant. You
was
plant
hurt.
the spike, you're not actually peeking, you're just
And
wasting
you
time
testified
so the
earlier
bomb
this morning,
goes
you
off,
claimed that
know?
you somehow were responsible for her getting the role with Warner Brothers, correct? That's what you testified to this morning. You also
This is
You
valid.
also tried to get her fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
Whoa.
After the temporary restraining order.
Which question would you like me to handle first, sir?
One question, sir. You tried to get her fired from the Aquaman after the temporary restraining order, didn't you?
Well, what is related to the story about me getting
It just
her?
yes or no, Mr. Depp. I don't. I
So
didn't
life
ask
does
what
not come
related,
down to
what the
yes or
story
no at all
related to.
times. I can't please you with a yes or a no every single time.
It's a yes or no question, Mr. Depp. You tried to get Miss Heard fired, didn't you?
He's high key
Answer's no.
a better
All
witness
right,
than
let's
Amber.
pull up Exhibit
I
821.
cannot say yes or no. It's not that simple. In life, there is nuance. Good job.
Is that
Mr.
me
Depp,
trying to
is
get her
this-
fired?
This is a text message that you had with your sister, Christy Dombrowski. She was the first witness in this case, right?
She doesn't work at Warner Brothers.
She-
You can't fire Amber.
Yeah. This is a text message you had with her on June 4th, 2016, isn't it?
June 12th. Yes.
Your Honor,
on.
move for the admission of Exhibit 821 as redacted.
Any objection?
We would object on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
I'll overrule that objection, 821 in evidence.
And on June 4th, 2016, Mr. Depp, you texted your sister, "I want her replaced on that W film." Did I read that right?
You did.
Her is referring to
Sorry,
Amber, right?
his laugh.
That's correct.
And
He's like,
WB is Warner
yeah, I
Brothers,
said that.
correct?
Again, correct.
And then after you sent this text to your sister, following the temporary restraining order, you reached out to Guy Silverstein to have him fire Amber, correct?
Who?
It's Greg Silverstein, I'm sorry.
Who?
I don't recall reaching out to Greg Silverstein.
You reach out to Sue Crawl to get him to
Particularly.
fire Miss Heard, right?
I had vetted Miss Heard. And I had vetted Miss Heard.
Mr. Depp, you got your chance
Warner
to speak
Brothers
this morning.
had,
Your Honor,
Warner
as-
Brothers had two franchises.
Mr. Depp, if you could just answer the question, sir. Next question?
You reached out to Greg Silverstein to get him to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman,
That is
didn't
pretty
you?
messed up.
I
Asked and
reached-
answered.
Excuse me?
Asked and answered.
It's a yes or no question that he hasn't answered, yes or no.
All right.
Yes or no, sir? You reached out to Greg Silverstein to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman.
Second half of your question is wrong, sir.
You reached out to
to
Sue
them
Crawl.
because I vetted her.
No, Mr. Depp. You reached out to Sue
Well,
Crawl
would you
to
like?
get
I
her
don't care.
I
to
think he's
try to get
trying
her
to say that he reached
help you get
out
Amber
to
fired
say, like,
from
I no
Aquaman,
longer
didn't you?
vouch for this person.
No.
And you reached out to Kevin Sujihara to try to get
But he
him
probably
to
did
help
want
you get
her not
Amber
on
fired from
film, as he
Aquaman,
said.
didn't you?
No.
So I guess to him, he's like, I didn't technically
Can
reach
you
out
pull
to
up
get her
Exhibit
fired,
857?
but I
please?
wouldn't have minded her being fired. You know? So I guess it's like, where do you draw that line? Obviously, to her, it's like, you're trying to get me fired. But to him, he's like, I'm
Mr.
just
Depp,
retracting
this is
my
a
vouch.
text message that you
I do
sent
want
to
you to get
Christian
fired,
Carino
but I don't know if he was actively saying,
on August 15th.
fire her
2016,
right now.
correct?
You know?
This is already in evidence, correct? Or is it 857?
Parts of it are,
Oh, so not this.
not this
Well,
version.
this can't be 857, then don't.
850. Sorry,
Mr. Rodenberg, you can't do this to me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Understood. We'll call it 857A.
857. Okay. All right. Yes, sir, thank you.
My apologies, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, you sent this text to Christian Carino on August 15th.
I most certainly did.
Okay. And in this text that you sent to Christian Carino is the person who used to be Amber's agent and then was your agent for a time, correct?
That is correct.
And in this text, Your Honor, permission to publish, please.
Or do you want to put in evidence
Yeah,
first?
move for admission of
Any
857A.
objection?
No objection.
All right, 857A.
He
As
vouched for
redacted
her.
will
It's
be
on
evident.
him to inform if his opinion changes.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in
Kind
this
of agree,
text,
so I'd
Mr.
like the
Depp,
details.
you said, she's begging for total global humiliation. She's going to get it. I'm going to need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion, or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime-a-dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market. I'm so fucking happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which
Sorry, I
made me
feel bad
realize
seeing
the time I blew on that 50-cent
that is really
stripper.
embarrassing.
I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off. Did I read that right?
You did.
Now, not long after this, you can take that down, Michelle. Thank you.
Bruv.
Not long after this, you met Mr. Waldman in the late summer or fall
Ooh,
of 2016,
he's-
correct?
He's looking
I
away.
believe, yeah, September, October, somewhere in there, whatever.
And he's been your attorney since then, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you met with him with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
I'm sorry, again?
You and Mr. Waldman together met with the Daily Mail in London in
Why does
February
she look like she's
2020,
gonna
didn't
cry?
you?
Imagine a text
Are
like
you
that
asking
being read aloud
me a
about your
question
ex-husband.
about
Your
my attorney and
ex-husband called you
Yeah, that you two
a
met
fish
with people
market
from the Daily Mail in
and
London in
a
February
C-word
2020.
guzzler and a jury of people,
that
a
during
bunch
the
of lawyers, and the whole
London
world has
trial?
to see that.
No,
No?
in February.
I don't
Sorry,
recall
I'm
it,
reading over
though.
it.
Okay.
I don't.
To the extent Mr. Waldman testified that you did, you don't dispute that, correct?
I just don't recall it.
Okay. You don't disagree with Mr. Waldman's testimony that you and he met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, correct?
If that's Mr. Waldman's testimony, then,
Okay.
but I just didn't necessarily know who these people were.
Right.
I can
The same
imagine
month
that.
that the Daily Mail released alleged
C-word
tapes
equals
between you and
Canadian.
Amber.
Objection
Correct.
calls for
He's a
speculation.
Canadian guzzler.
Not personal knowledge.
Alleged.
Eats up all the Canadians around.
Now, Mr. Depp, you testified, and I wrote it down before lunch. You said, when Ms. Myers asked you something about,
I have
how does
so
it
many
feel to
questions
make
for
you,
you guys.
or how does it feel to be here? You said,
Hold on.
I've been living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to get the truth out. Remember saying that?
Yes.
You also said, I've spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back. Something to that effect. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
And you've claimed several times in this proceeding, Mr. Depp, that this trial is your first chance to tell your story, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
But that's just not true, is it, Mr. Depp? That is not true.
No, for me it is true.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The fact is, Mr. Depp, when Dan Wooten wrote an article that was published in The Sun calling you a wife beater, you brought a lawsuit against The Sun in June of 2018, correct?
Oh, I guess
Yes,
that
I
makes
put
sense.
And that was 6 months before Miss Heard ever wrote her op-ed, correct?
I don't know.
And in the summer of 2020, there was a several-week trial in London against The Sun, correct?
Ms. Hood was not a party to that trial, was she?
Not my question, Mr. Depp. In the article that The Sun wrote that you sued over, you sued for Mr. Wooten calling you a wife beater, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question.
And in the trial that you subsequently brought, you called a lot of
He
witnesses.
sued the son.
right?
Yeah, that was the London trial.
I don't know what a lot is. I don't know.
Many people testified on both sides of the trial, correct?
Yes, many people.
And many exhibits were introduced, correct?
Like a trial, yes.
And you, just like in this trial, you were on the stand for several days in that trial, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
And that trial involved the same factual issues that you are litigating here, which is
Maybe he
whether
felt
you
like the
committed
UK
domestic
doesn't count.
abuse
Illegal.
against Amber Heard.
It's not like the
Sustain the
world. It's like a
objection. Next
fantasy
question.
land.
You
over
brought that
there.
case against the Sun because
It's like
you
over there.
were
So he's like,
angry
now
at
I get
the
to tell
Sun
the
for
world. The
calling you a wife
UK,
beater,
I don't
correct?
really know what's going on over there. It's like Narnia in a sense.
Yeah, that's
And you
probably a pretty good reason.
And you went through that trial in London, correct?
I did indeed, yes.
Mr. Depp, you've already had a chance to tell your story, haven't you?
No, there
Objection
were
asked and
great
answered.
limitations in the UK trial.
Overruled. Okay.
No further questions.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that's what
Redirect.
he means.
Thank you.
I don't think that was a really important line of questioning. Like at what point he gets to tell the world. Because I understand. I think that
Mr. Depp,
one was also
Mr.
sealed.
Rottenborn asked you some questions about.
And it probably just didn't get as much
the
attention,
UK
obviously,
trial.
as the trial here would.
Why do you feel that this is the first time that you've actually had an opportunity to tell your story and, as you said, get the load off your back?
Not
As
Narnia.
the UK trial was me suing Dan Wooten and the Sun for defamation for calling me a wife beater. The UK have there are different laws, there are different ways they handle things. There are also limitations in evidence. Some things can be brought up, some things cannot be
Your Honor,
brought
they
up.
said
And
it calls
Mr.
for a legal
Rottenborn.
conclusion. He's talking about limitations in evidence in the English.
Your Honor, he's talking about his experience testifying.
Yeah, this is Johnny's
Overruled.
side now.
You'll be okay. Yes,
Bitch.
there is a very. Everything is quite boxed in with regard to
down.
what can be said, what can be spoken about. So, Ms. Heard provided information to the Sun as their star witness, but the case was not brought against Ms. Heard. It was brought against the Sun newspaper, journal,
That's
whatever
true.
it is.
And yep, that's right.
Mr. Rottenborn referenced that you were on the stand for multiple days.
4.5, I believe, yes.
Yeah. What was the nature of that examination? Or, excuse me, who was conducting that examination of you?
QC Sasha Was,
And whose attorney was that?
the Sun's.
Can we please pull up DX 857A?
All right. It's already in evidence, so you can publish it.
Huh?
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was questioning you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Can you explain what you're conveying to Mr. Carino in this text message?
Oh, I don't want to see this again.
I'm in total shock that this is happening to me, that my entire life on the planet has been brought to the head of a pin with all this completely, utterly false information. So I am, when you're accused of horrific acts and things that you have not done, when it's actually some very ugly things that are going out there into the world about you on a non-stop basis by Ms. Heard and her team, you have a tendency, as humans, to get very, very irate and angry.
Irate.
Not to the point where you go out and hurt someone, not to the point even where you assault a cabinet. But you do get irate. You do wonder why this person is doing this to me. So yeah, many things go through your head. And then you've got your family, you've got your kids, you've got your parents. My mom, thankfully, didn't get to read any of this, because that would have killed her.
Aww.
But my father, my family, everyone that I've met, the people that have supported me, suddenly I'm scum. And why? Never had to happen. One little lie. So yes, very angry.
For someone who
Can you
has
please
written
pull up
such
Defendant's Exhibit 821?
terrible things, that is probably one of the best explanations.
Mr. Depp, do you
I just said
recall
at the end of
seeing
the day, I'm
this
human.
text message when Mr.
It's
Osborne was
hard not
asking
to
questions?
empathize.
Yes, he loves this one, yes.
If he's like, yeah, well, she was terrible, and
What you're trying
then
to
it's like,
convey
ooh,
in this
yikes.
text message.
But when someone's like, hey, yo, I'm human like everybody else,
Well,
you're like, well,
Warner Brothers
it's still terrible what he
was
did, though.
about to find, they
Or what
were
he
about
wrote.
to find themselves in quite a dilemma as the person that they had just cast.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation as to what Warner Brothers knew or thought.
Didn't I meet with them?
I'm just a human with an island.
Persuade,
Well, yeah, he
question.
is
I'll sustain
grown
objection,
enough
next
to know
motion.
better.
Mr. Depp, without explaining what Warner Brothers felt, why did you send this text message to your sister? And what were, excuse me, strike that. What were you trying to convey to your sister when you sent this text message?
Honestly, I felt responsibility for having gone to those people and painted such a beautiful picture.
Objection. Hearsay, Your Honor. Now he's talking about what he said to Warner Brothers.
Overruled.
Please continue.
You change seats.
So, sorry, you can continue.
I felt it was my responsibility to get the truth to Warner Brothers about what they were going to end up facing down the line, which is two franchises that would be causing problems for one another, especially as
What did he say? What did I miss?
all any news, any press, any media that came out
I'll
about
look at it
me
later.
at that time had been turned into, I was Charles Manson, I was the worst thing on earth, and they just kept coming. It was like a nonstop fire.
Did he say we should
So
change seats?
my responsibility, after having painted a beautiful picture of her for them, was to tell them.
Aww. Yeah, I actually think that makes sense. To kind of retract
I
his
think
vouch.
you better.
Objection,
But
Your
I
Honor.
wonder if he was like, you guys should fire her. I guess
Getting
that's
into what he
where you cross the
claims he
line of
told
like,
Warner
I'm
Brothers
trying to get her
wanted
fired.
He's-
But if you're like,
he's
hey, I vouched
saying
for her
what
before,
he wanted to
I don't
tell
vouch
them.
for her
He's not saying
anymore.
what he actually told them.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Mr. Depp, you
said
mentioned two
Amber
franchise
Lawyers
films
changed
with
seats
Warner
to
Brothers. What
presidents.
two franchise films are you referring to?
There was Aquaman, and Fantastic Beasts.
Joke
the
2
one
out of
that
2.
I was in.
And why did you feel a responsibility with respect to those two franchise films?
Warner Brothers was starting to get quite upset about some of the things that were being said about me in the press that were constant hit pieces. On one level, on one level, yes, it's just acting, it's just movies, but it's business, and it's your word. And I had given my word to them, and I felt responsible that I had to tell them exactly what was going on, and that it was going to end up ugly.
And which of those two film franchises were you a part of?
I'm sorry?
Which of those two film franchises were you a part of?
I was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I was in the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Could we please pull up DX 883? Now, Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing these text messages during Mr. Ronborn's examination?
Oh, God, yeah. Yes, I remember.
And
Which are
you didn't
these?
seem to recall
Which
these
are
text
these?
messages. Is that
It truly is
Oh,
fair.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
it's not.
Oh.
I'm not.
yeah, he's saying someone's.
Do you have
Who
any?
knows? I don't know
This
who
doesn't
Molly
sound like he's
is.
talking about
I don't know
MDMA.
I don't know nothing about this.
Do you have any understanding of what you're referring to in this text message? Or these two text messages?
No.
Okay, but no
I-
BM. He
honestly,
does text like
if
that.
somebody else had
So I'd
borrowed my
believe
phone
that it
or
was
something and
him.
made this text to Stephen, possibly.
Did they actually
But I
leak the
don't
numbers?
understand.
Nor.
The-
Joey is throwing things for the 1 year. I can't believe even
I
on a
don't-
stream
I
like
don't
this,
have that
there's
kind
leaks.
of, I don't have that kind of hubris or expectation. That's quite
Unbiased?
grotesque. Text.
Objectively speaking, those
Can we
texts
take that down,
look
please?
like the way he texted in other texts. That's all I
Can we
said.
please pull up Defendant's
It's not
Exhibit
that deep.
1821?
It's not that day.
Seattle 115 tipped $4.20. Amber is
Mr.
trash.
Depp,
Thanks for your
do you
opinion and your
recognize
$2.
this document?
That is behind the bar, yes.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Ronborn asked you some questions about whether there was a telephone.
Yes,
in
and now
That line of
I see
questioning
a
was
telephone
so
there now.
confusing.
Yes. And did you
really
recall that
do.
telephone being there?
Mr.
I don't
Duck.
recall the telephone being there, but I can see it now.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1820? Do you recall me showing you this text message earlier on? Or excuse me, do you recall
Yes,
me
of
showing you
course.
this picture
Yes.
during your examination?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Mr. Duck.
Okay. And I think I asked you whether you recall a phone being mounted on the wall in the left of this picture. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And what was your answer to that?
No.
I actually spoke about this earlier. Why is he allowed to look smug but not Amber? People are
Mr. Depp,
hypocrites?
Mr. Ronborn
I just
asked
feel
you some
like Amber
questions
has
about
been caught out
your
in a
honeymoon.
lot
Do you
more
remember that?
lies than Johnny has. So it's a
And
little
I
odd
believe
for
you
her
had
to look
testified
smug.
that you and Miss Heard were on
that make
the
sense?
Orient Express together.
That's
Especially
correct, yes.
because Johnny has kind of
Where
been the
had you
same
been
since the
prior
beginning, but
to
initially she like
being on the Orient
acted all
Express?
sad and now she's not. But I do agree there's
We've
probably a
been
sprinkle of
in,
misogyny where it's more annoying, especially for guys to see a woman
Australia.
acting smug in this case versus the guy acting smug.
And then
So a little bit of yes to both.
made it over to
Some of it is
Thailand
valid,
to
some of it
catch
is a little
the
biased, but yeah.
Orient Express.
If we could bring up the Plaintiff's Exhibit 162 again.
I actually that was one of the notes that I brought that I
Mr.
wrote.
Depp, do you
I
know
wanted
who
to
took this
discuss with you
picture?
guys. Like his smugness when those
Connolly.
texts came up was a little bit odd.
And
Shrek Gamer
despite
thinks
what
he's having nice.
Mr.
Thank you. Coco Nutty, thank you.
Showed you about the picture of you prior to this, do you see a bruise on your face in this picture?
He will.
I see like what looks like a pretty decent shiner and a kind of a scratched up nose, yes.
And do you recall how you got the scratches and the shiner?
There was a very brief
That Bo?
freak out that Miss Heard had in our cabin
The people have not seen him so long.
just before this dinner. I can't remember why, but there were many.
I can't stretch far enough to get him.
I remember taking the photograph, though. I mean, I remember being there. I remember meeting the chef.
They're
and all.
both sitting right there.
But
Sorry, I'm
I
not
mean,
listening.
The quality of the photo's not great. The quality of the other photo that he showed us is prettied up.
Mr. Depp, did you
Sorry, I'm laughing at
ever
the quality, not
physically
him.
abuse Miss Heard during your relationship?
Never.
Let me count the pixels. 1, 2,
No further
3,
questions.
All right.
4.
So you can have a seat next to your attorneys. Thank you.
That is a really bad quality. Hi.
Your next witness.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get that. I'm sorry.
Mr. Depp calls Morgan Tremaine.
All right. Morgan Tremaine.
Okay. Bo's being a little gamer. He's grown so much, actually. It's crazy. But I'm happy. That means he's healthy. Is it Camille time? Listen, I'm not on Johnny's side. I'm not on Amber's side, but I am a Camille stan. You crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tremaine.
Hello?
Hello.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Morgan
Oh
Cliff
shit,
Tremaine.
he looks like he came straight
And
out of
what do you do for a
Twilight.
living?
I produce esports events and design video games.
Huh?
And in 2016, what did you do for
Do you
a
think
living?
he knows who I am?
I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ.
He's on our side.
What is TMZ?
TMZ
Wait,
is
TMZ?
an entertainment news website and television show.
And what were your responsibilities as a field assignment manager for TMZ?
I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
Reporters
Approximately
in
how
the
many
field.
paparazzis were you in charge of?
Professional
At the
journalists.
time, it was about 20 in LA, a handful, maybe 3 in New York, and then 1 in DC.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch
my baby.
paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hot spots where celebrities would be.
And how were those tips received?
They were received either through tips that we received through our tip line or directly through news producers in the office.
And were tips frequently received directly from sources?
Very often the case, yeah.
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list
Oh my
celebrities.
god.
Lawyers?
So basically,
And lawyers,
the only
definitely.
people who call paparazzi on
How were
themselves
tips
are
verified?
people's agents or
Tips are
themselves.
verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information, which is
Damn.
a field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long did that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would
AFK,
have
who is
the
this? This is a
legal ability
TMZ
to
Andy.
air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
What was the first time you recall
How
working
will
on
this
an
help
assignment
Johnny? I'm
related
confused.
to
Give
Ms.
it
Heard?
time.
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los
Wait,
Angeles.
no, this is funny.
So
He looks
I
like an extra
dispatched
from The Witcher.
camera people to that
Accurate.
location.
But he looks good.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and foundation.
What were they supposed to do?
Right. She's asking for, I don't think there's a foundation or
I'll
hearsay.
overrule the objection at this point. We'll see.
Go ahead, Mr. Tremaine.
Can you state the question again?
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going
I
to
saw something
sort
I
of
will show you
stop
guys
and turn
later.
towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Did your team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
What is the difference
Wow.
between receiving a tip from a news producer and any other source?
If it's any other source, it would have to be verified by copyright. If it was anything that was received directly through a news producer, then they go through
This
that
is actually
process
huge.
to verify the source.
Did you do anything to verify the
She
tip
kept
on May 27th,
saying that was the one day I
2016
didn't wear
related to Amber
makeup.
Heard?
I did not,
Why not?
because it had come directly from a news producer.
Does that mean it had been verified?
It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
After May 27th, 2016,
Wow.
were you involved in any other assignments related to Amber Heard?
Yes.
Can you tell me about those assignments?
The next one would have been August 6th, 2016, where she was giving a deposition.
Bar shipped $2. He looks
So what did
like
you do in
Draco
relation
from Harry
to
Potter.
that tip?
Grown Draco.
I dispatched camera people to a parking lot adjacent
But did
to
they
a
say where
law
this tip
office
came from, like,
in which she would be
confirmed?
arriving to, so we could get the footage of her arriving for the deposition.
Do you typically send paparazzis to parking lots of law offices?
No, not
They
at all.
just said a news source.
Did you get the shot of Miss Heard on August 6, 2016?
We did.
But it was like a tip
After
given,
August 6,
which is kind of the
2016.
important part.
Were you involved in any other stories involving Miss Heard?
Yes, I was.
And what story was that?
On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Ms. Heard.
And what day was that?
I believe that was the August 12th
Of 2016?
of 2016, yes.
Can you describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12, 2016?
Yes, the video was sent in through our email tip line, which is an email distribution that goes to all the producers and to myself as the field assignment manager, because it often included celebrity locations.
Oh, she's
It came in as I recall,
Objection, hearsay.
He's just describing how it came in.
I think he's about to reveal hearsay, Your Honor.
I'll overrule for now. We'll see where it goes.
Please continue.
So I received that email, and it included a link from some unknown Dropbox type public website in which
Bro,
contained that
Drop-
email.
Dropbox about to
Hearsay.
be
He's about to
subpoenaed.
describe what's
Who
comes
made
from
the account?
Dropbox
Who made the
website.
account? We want to know.
Was a link from the Dropbox. We'll see the next question.
Who made the Dropbox account?
So you received a link. What was in that link?
In that link was the video
With the
of
cabinets?
Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets.
And you received this video in your inbox, correct?
I did.
What did you do once you received that video?
We downloaded it.
Dropbox
we
is
alerted
anonymous?
the web editor
No, it's
who
not.
was sitting next to me at the time. We downloaded it, and then were instructed by the
By
news
the way, there
producer
are
to
far
do what we
more
call
anonymous
slap
manners of
bumpers
sending
and
a
a bug
video.
on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end, and then putting a translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
Dun, dun, dun.
After you did that, was it posted?
It was posted, yes.
Where was it posted?
It was posted to tmz.com.
Who else
Did
could
you
have
do
sent it
anything
besides
else
Amber?
related to
Someone on
Amber
her
Heard
team,
on
but she would have had to
August 12,
send it to
2016?
someone on her team in order for
Yes,
them to
I
do that.
received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit, or her arrival to LAX, rather.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
What came out of that?
How long does it take to post a story after media's been received by TMZ?
After media's been
Do you
received,
guys know what came out of
it
that
could take
thing?
any length of time depending on who owns the copyright.
How does TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take to copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright.
Yeah.
And then possibly
How
it
can they
depends
do that
also
with
if
the
you
cabinet
can even get
thing?
in contact with the person because they might not be super responsive immediately via phone or email that they provided. And then potentially you'd have to enter a negotiation with our clips and clearances department to figure out the
she
cost of
writing?
that media.
I'm excited for the cross.
How long
It'll
does
be
it
really
take for
interesting.
TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Wait, whoa. How could you guys get the copyright that fast?
Did any other tabloids other than TMZ post this video?
Objection
No, they-
leading and cause for hearsay.
Did any other tabloids?
Overrule.
Mr. Tremaine, go ahead.
No, they did not.
And why not?
Because it was a TMZ exclusive.
And what does that mean?
It means the
She's
TMZ
getting
owns the
cooked.
copyright to it. So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ. And they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
Oh my god.
Have you seen the kitchen cabinet video that was played in this trial?
I have, yes.
How does that video that was played in this trial compare to the one you received on August 12, 2016?
When I had clicked the direct link that we received and watched the video in its entirety, it was much shorter than the video we had received, than the video that's been played in this trial. There was a bit at the beginning that was played here in which
She
Ms. Heard
edited
is
it and then sent
seemingly
it.
sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end
Aw,
where
this
she's
is so
seemingly
embarrassing.
snickering and looks at the camera.
For
that
her.
part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little.
Except the
When
watermark.
we receive something and it's edited,
Added the dun dun dun.
there's a
and the
clear
watermark.
indicator because there's
Oh my God,
sort of a
his
journalistic
nails!
practice they uses.
Sorry.
When there's an edit, you do what's called like a white flash transition, which covers the entire screen with white to very clearly
love seeing
indicate to
guys do
everybody
their
there was an
nails.
edit here for time or whatever, just to make it a little more compelling. But in this case, it was not edited, as I was staring at the machine that edited it and present for the entirety of receipt to publishing.
Of course you do. What does that mean?
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
Abolish gender
It was,
norms.
well, there was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, because I think the first time didn't work out. So she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office.
And what's that, August 13th, 2016?
That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th, 2016?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
How did you know that tip was legitimate?
It came from a news producer.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes. So, how do you know what video was
That
shown
was a
at this
Camille
trial?
alt. She's so good.
I was alerted by a friend that that TMZ was being kind of talked about in this trial, and so I had seen a clip of that.
So you watched some of this trial?
Correct.
Okay. When did you first reach out to counsel for Mr. Depp?
I like her suit.
I
but
believe that
hate
was
the
6
black
days
underneath.
ago, whatever that date would be. I'd have to do that.
All right. And then you received a subpoena, I think yesterday, in care of your attorney, Cindy Hickox, right?
Correct.
Okay. And Cindy Hickox represents Christy Dombrowski, Kate James, Robin Baum.
Objection,
and
Your
Debbie
Honor.
Lloyd. Were you aware
Calls
of
for
that?
speculation.
Overruled.
Were you aware of that?
No.
Now, if you don't have information that's helpful to this case, then you wouldn't be a witness, correct?
Objection. Calls for
can't.
speculation.
Sustained. Sustained. Next question.
I'm not
Right.
aware.
Okay, you know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame.
I am not
Objection, Your
blind.
Honor. Argumentative.
Ew, come on now.
So
TMZ didn't
I
even
stand
want
to
this
gain
guy
nothing
up
from
here, I'm
this.
pretty
I'm
sure.
actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ,
Yes,
a very
yes.
litigious
This is not even good for
organization.
him.
And I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate.
He has a job
I
in
could say the
esports.
same
He's
thing by
good.
taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
And if you lose your job,
Little
hit me up.
argumentative, don't you think?
Oh,
Okay.
hardly. I
You don't-
find that to
you
be
don't deserve
purely
this.
logical. Thank you.
Now, are you
You don't
aware
deserve
that
for her to
Mr.
roast you like
Depp's
this.
attorneys were well aware
Not in an
of
inappropriate
the
way.
TRO that was going
we got
to
a
be
team too, okay?
presented on May 27th?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Were you aware of that?
Lack of foundation.
Overruled if you can answer it.
Can you restate the question?
Were you aware that Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys were aware
I missed
that
it. What
Amber
did he
Heard
say?
was going in to seek a TRO on May 27th?
Okay, hold on.
It's a fame televised, right?
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
Now, are you aware that Mr. Depp's attorneys
Yes!
were well aware of the TRO?
If
that
she's
was
calling
going to
you
be
argumentative,
presented
she's being
on
argumentative
May
as well.
27th?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Were you aware of that?
Lack of foundation.
Overruled.
I
if you
was
can
trying to
answer
give
Can
you
you
the
restate the
benefit of the
question?
doubt.
Were you aware
Elaine.
that Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys were aware that Amber Heard was going in to seek a TRO on May 27th?
I don't think I understand the question. I don't think so, no.
Okay. Do you
complicated
know
Oh, I
whether
get what
Blair
she's
Burke,
saying.
one of Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys, had a very close relationship with TMZ at that time?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Overruled. If he knows.
I was not aware of that.
Okay. And when you said that you were dispatched twice, once to film Amber in a parking lot for the deposition, and then it didn't work out, and so you had to do it another time. How did you know it didn't work out?
Because TMZ.com posted an article saying as much.
Okay.
No,
Do you
I was
know-
not dispatched.
Do you know
I worked in the office.
why the deposition did not work out?
I'd have to reference the article. I forget.
So do you know?
I didn't write that story. I wasn't involved in the
Do
actual
you know
journalism of
which side? Do you know which side would have known or not known whether that deposition was going to work out? In other words, the people representing Mr. Depp or the people representing Ms. Heard?
that. I wouldn't know.
Okay. And then the video clip. You don't know who provided that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Not testifying to
I have
that.
no further.
All right. Redirect.
Snooze, Elaine.
Mr. Tremaine, why did you contact me in relation to this case?
I saw that there was a discrepancy with like the video that was shown here and the video that I know I'd received. So I had no interest in testifying. I reached out simply to maybe try to help with the timeline of things or help with the case in any way just by virtue of understanding the timeline of the stories that were published and kind of how that can be unclear. But I had no idea I'd be on the scene.
chill.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, sir, you're free to go. Thank you. All right.
That was a sick
You
testimony.
have another witness. Okay.
That was a sick testimony. That was very interesting. I think it was very good for Johnny's side, and I feel like Amber's side, their cross was embarrassing. Just embarrassing. The only thing that they could say was, oh, you just want attention. Come on. Come on. At least a sprinkle of facts and logic,
Yes, ma'am.
please.
Good afternoon,
And then they said,
Good afternoon.
and then they tried to blame it They tried to blame it on Johnny Depp's divorce attorneys. And it's like, why would Johnny's attorneys want to photograph Amber being bruised up? What sense does that make?
It's Norbert, N-O-R.
They would not want any attention on that.
Brian, I go by Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Neumeister,
The cats are wild.
N-E-U-M-E-I-S-T-E-R.
Could you start by describing your educational background, please?
My educational background, well, I graduated from Cal State University Northridge 42
Thank you guys
years
so
ago
much for the subs.
with a degree in
Welcome.
political science.
Welcome back. Appreciate you.
From then on, I've
So
been
many new
working
subs, thank
professionally in photography, totally unrelated, for the past 42 years. And that would also include videography, audio, and a few other different binary related tasks.
Very cool,
Where do you
Brian.
currently work?
I own USA Forensic.
What is USA Forensic?
USA Forensic is a digital forensics company. We are boutique. We're very small. We work. We have offices in Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, and in Phoenix, Arizona.
Guys, what is the button to skip to live?
Prosecution,
Oh, is it
defense,
this? No, it's not.
law enforcement, the Innocence Project. We have a contract with the Department of Defense. We do classified and unclassified
Live.
work.
I did.
We've done classified work.
Wait, so if I did this and then.
We
Oh,
work with
I get
DOJ,
it.
and I've worked in 23 countries as a photographer.
What's your title at USA Forensic?
CEO.
Did you also found USA Forensic?
Originally, in around 1990, it was called Skymeister, and that is because of the amount of helicopter photography time I have. About 10 years ago, we changed it to USA Forensic while still doing a lot of the same tasks.
And you described, I think, some of the entities that you work with. What kind of work do you do for those entities that you mentioned?
We do audio forensics, which is clarifying audio, for example, sting operations or audio that may have been picked up on surveillance
That's cool.
or any other type of recording, removing background sounds. Video clarification,
Mama,
we do a
welcome
lot
back.
of work with Axon
Your Honor, I'm
cameras.
just gonna
G-Frag made it to
checked
Pluto.
on relevance based on the discussion we had earlier. This experience has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
All right. Do you have an
Huh?
objection
I
to him being
disagree.
moved in as an expert in the field?
Well, she hasn't
Thank
moved
you
yet.
for
I'm
the-
objecting to the
Thank you so much for
relevance
the-
of the testimony
How
on the
much?
subject
50?
matter right now.
I'll overrule the objection. Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead, Mr. Neumeister. You can continue.
So where I left off is we do a lot of work with Axon police cameras because they don't really handle low lux levels or low light levels very well. So we clean up, we are beta testers for a program called Input ACE, which is part of the Axon company used by police officers. We clarify their cameras to better see what happened at night, for example, in different scenes. We do the same
Really
with
cool.
surveillance cameras. Any kind of camera.
This is
cell
well
phone
said. Hold
cameras.
on.
We also do cell phone
He's
forensics.
the enhanced guy.
Computer
Yep.
forensics and cell tower forensics, along with
I hope they
forensics.
have him talk
What types
about
of cases do you work on?
It can be anything from
Amber's photos
Fortune 500s
and
to
the photos with the chefs, both of them.
it
not
can be
just
anything
one.
from a pro per, which is a person that's actually just representing themselves in a smaller case, to a lot of homicide cases, defamation. It can be any kind of case that requires cell phone extractions or computer extractions. Could be money laundering. Could be the Department of Defense identifying a voice, that type of thing. Satellite imagery, basically anything with binary information.
Have you been retained as an expert before?
Oh, yes. I would say we average about 150 to 200 cases a year. In the last 4 years, we've done over 600 cases, and that would be in U.S. federal courts, U.S. district courts, various state courts throughout.
Okay. He's the
Throughout the United States. We
binoculars
just
guy.
wrapped up a case that was an overseas case, wrapped up yesterday. We do U.S. military court. We have a case coming up in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. So it's really varied. I've done quite a few U.S. district court cases.
Have you testified as an expert in digital forensics before?
Yes, and what people sometimes don't understand is only about 2% of all cases go to trial. So 98% of the time, you're actually just doing the forensic work and getting it to the parties. And as we say, data is data. It really doesn't take a side. We don't have a narrative.
True.
So Very
It is
often, it's just providing the
objective
data for the
evidence.
attorneys to work
Evidence.
with, or the parties.
Evidence.
Have you ever been excluded from testifying as an expert regarding any work that you performed?
No, but you have to take into account that sometimes there might be curbs put on what, for example, in this trial, there's certain boundaries. Or if you're working with a pro per or with a attorney that is not very familiar with electronics. And the thing is, again, they teach Latin in law school, not binary. And binary is the universal language these days. So sometimes in the legal system, it's a little bit hard to explain to attorneys what exactly we're doing. So we try to break it down and make that work.
What is digital forensics?
Digital forensics is anything that you are using, like your television set, your cell phone, your computer, anything that runs off of binary information that has coding in it.
We get it.
How long have you worked in digital forensics?
Well, I actually started off in analog.
So what
it's
does
been 40
forensics
some odd
mean?
Years. I started off.
What do you consider to be digital? Does digital include iPhone and Android?
When I was a kid, my dad was a director
Are
of sales
photos digital?
and sales service administration for the NBC television network on the West Coast. So I grew up around television cameras. My first cameras were cameras people might not have heard of, Leica, Hasselblad,
I love
cameras like that.
Leicas.
I trained with some of the best photographers
Leicas are-
around at the time, William Wallner, Niall Latham.
They're one of
really
the
excellent
only
photographers.
cameras that I feel really
And,
capture something like a
I started shooting
human's eye
videotape from
would.
helicopters, and I logged about 14,700 hours of video. And at that time, oddly enough, since we
Trying
were
to
the
listen.
only
Don't lie.
helicopter, a television helicopter, we
You
were the
listen
only
to
helicopter in
talk about
Phoenix.
helicopters and shit.
At the time, the sheriff's department did not have a helicopter. The police department did not have a helicopter, nor did Aerovac. So we ended up doubling up, being a news crew as well as an air rescue.
Sorry.
So as far as forensics, analog probably from 1980 to 1990, and digital from 1990 through current.
How'd you get started in it?
Really by osmosis. I started in the production field. I usually don't
slow.
do that much
Got it.
TV work anymore. I did shoot part of an episode, a program called Planet Earth for the BBC last year.
That's so cute.
I don't normally do television anymore. It's just 99% forensics. But I got started because very often as working in a helicopter, we'd be asked to work for a police department in a
Osmosis.
rescue or a chase or whatever the situation might be. And since I'd be videotaping it, they would ask me to break it down frame by frame and
Do you guys
analyzing
mind
it
if I take
using
a minute
what's
to
called a
look at
time-based
something
curriculum a
else?
day. And so word got out that I could do unusual things because I'm pretty good with machines. And it just ended up, more and more people started calling, and it just became a full-time job.
Have you received any professional certifications in forensics?
Yes, but again, most hackers and people who do
Okay, so I saw a couple people in my chat say Pop Crave tweeted about you, and I was like, what in the world is that? And
Ha99
apparently,
tipped $2.
they are a Twitter that just posts like news and stuff. And I was like, oh, I know what this is gonna be about. And it was like Twitch streamer Pokimane called out for hosting a watch party for Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's defamation trial. But what I was surprised about is like the majority of people are just like, I don't get it. What's wrong with this? There are countless YouTubers streaming that shit for views. Gonna attend. So many people are doing this. Why is it a problem when I do it? Yeah. So I'm grateful that, you know, obviously people are entitled to their opinions regarding like whether some people should stream it or shouldn't. That's totally fine. They're like, there's literally so many streamers, even ones way bigger than me, doing this these days. Why just call out her? So I was really, really glad that people at the very least were pointing out the hypocrisy. That's fine. LOL. What's the problem? I don't know what this is. So again, I just want to say, if people think that streamers or YouTubers shouldn't be reacting to this or talking to it or restreaming it, you are completely entitled to your opinion. Though it is kind of unfair that for some reason people wanted to single me out. But, I'm not surprised. And again, it is what it is. But I just wanted to say I was so happy and surprised to see that so many people were just saying, girl, everyone doing this. Okay, and so many streamers are doing this. Because I'm not used to that, So I know these people probably have no idea where I am. I just wanted to say I was really happy and surprised to see this.
Interesting work. I won for best editing. I won for
Okay,
best
he's still
ace
flexing?
editing, which is computer
Okay.
editing. Best sound. I've done the music
Get your chat
to
chill.
a piece that won the Golden Lion at the Cannes Film Festival. I've done music
I'm
to
a
a
P,
piece that,
okay? Tell me if I
won the
miss
gold at
anything.
the Calgary Film Festival. I've got
Very
a
bad.
lot of awards from Associated Press and different companies from doing documentaries and news.
Have you published any works in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, and they're mostly articles, about a half dozen of them or so. We don't have much time, and I don't usually do it, but it was basically on most of my work deals around clarifying or authenticating. So it was basically the things I published were on clarification of digital files.
Have you appeared on TV as an expert in digital forensics?
Yes,
Where?
CBS, NBC, ABC, BBC, Discovery Channel, a number of different things.
Any particular examples of things that you've spoken on TV about?
Boston bombings, how the frame averaging was done on that, sort of things like that. Again, we get calls a lot, but I don't speak specifically about cases. I just speak about technology.
Have you given any public lectures in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, we get asked quite often, but due to our schedule, it's a little rough. We do what's called Inns of Court. We speak in front of private investigator groups. We do attorneys continuing legal education. Audio Engineering Society. We try to do a few a year, and that's about what our schedules will allow, given our time.
Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to tender Mr. Neumeister as an expert in the field of digital forensics.
Any objection?
No objection,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
so moved.
Mr. Neumeister, turning to the work you've done in this case, what have you done?
I was asked to analyze the photographs of purported injuries to Miss Heard
And what was the purpose of that analysis?
to authenticate photos or to review and see if they were altered in any way.
What did you analyze to reach your opinions?
Well, I analyzed groups of photos that were submitted by Miss Heard's legal team.
What work did you do to analyze those photographs?
Well, normally you start off by looking at what's called the EXIF data. The EXIF data is the binary data that's encoded into a photograph. It tells you, for example, if the flash fired, what the operating software version was of the cell phone or camera that shot a photo, what type of lens was used, what the f-stop was. There's literally about 1,000 lines of code in the EXIF data on a JPEG photo. So we would start with an EXIF editor or an EXIF viewer.
Anything else that you looked at?
Yes, when we're dealing with RGB cameras, which are red, green, and blue channel cameras, which would be a cell phone or a basic home camera. They're based on RGB channels. We would do four types of scopes. We would do a vector scope. We do a luminance scope. We do a waveform scope, and then what's called an RGB parade. And those scopes analyze different things. The vector scope analyzes
Hold on.
where the
I'll
different
tell
types
you
of
guys
colors
why
are
I'm
headed.
upset after this.
For example, it's broken up into reds, magenta, different areas on a scope. We would take a look at that to see if there's anything out of the normal for the type of camera being used. In other words, would there be above a certain percentage of chroma? And chroma means color saturation.
Objection, Your Honor. Outside the scope, we can approach.
All right.
It's not. Okay, while they're approaching. So I went to go pee. And I set up this new litter box. The second litter box for the second cat. in this bathroom. Look at this shit. Amber paid me a visit. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. But the thing is, this wasn't the kitty. That is a big poop. That is Mimi's poop. Mimi pooped in my bathtub. And for what? Like, the litter box is right there. But then I started looking and I was like, I guess the bathtub kind of looks like the litter box. Look at it. Does it not? The litter box kind of looks like a big bath. It kind of does. Do not start calling her Mimi Turd. I will be suing for defamation. I'm writing down every single one of your usernames right now. Who said that? Oh my god, this is a lot of work. Anyone else? A Keck W? That's Exhibit A. What the fuck? Okay, this is becoming a class action. I cannot believe. Mimi, what the fuck? Has anyone had something like that happen? Do you guys think I should be worried? Or do you think it's just because it looks similar and she probably won't do it again?
Mr. Neumeister, based on the analysis you performed in this case, have you formed any opinions?
I'm not a snitch, but...
Pardon?
Based on the analysis you've done in this case, have you formed any opinions?
Yes.
What are they?
It's probably just because it
Well,
looks
three
similar.
basic ones.
I hope
One
she
is
doesn't do it
quite a
again.
number of the photos had been through a photo, at least one, possibly two.
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation, which photos is he referring to? We have to go through this one by one.
Oh. Maybe it's too small. I think when
Mr.
I
Neumeister.
move, I'll get a bigger one.
In terms of the photos that you looked at and that you
Yeah.
formed opinions about, do you understand if they've been submitted as evidence in this case?
Yes.
She also pooped in the litter
And
box,
what
but she also
conclusions have you
pooped
formed
outside
about
of the
those?
litter box.
Same objection, Your Honor. That doesn't cure the issue of the objection. We have to go through this. Which photos is she talking about? Which one's in evidence? What exhibit numbers? That's the basis of the
We're
objection.
talking generally about opinions right now, Your
99
Honor, and we're
tipped
going to get into some
$2.
specifics.
I had fun
can go
watching
straight to
again.
specifics.
Pretty
Okay.
chill.
Sorry,
Jake
I need a lipstick.
Matt65 tipped $2. One of my cats pees over the bathtub hole.
Well, I guess technically that's not too bad because you can just wash it.
Mr. Neumeister, have you prepared a demonstrative that aids in your testimony with respect to any of the photos that you looked at in
I
this
think
case?
that just means
Yes.
like demonstrate, but it sounds really intense.
I'd like
you
to
know?
pull up plaintiff's 1303, Your Honor, if I might approach.
Bro, how do I make my curls even? Because like, if you pull them out, they're way longer.
Your Honor, I would, again, object. We can approach to discuss
Okay,
it.
you want to approach?
Yeah, he's trying really hard to have them not go over these photos, but we can all see the truth. Guys, if you want, I can do what this guy just did. Okay? Let me show you. Is it this one?
Oh, she's trusting you.
No, that's my new Iman video. Cute. It's this one. This is what he's gonna do right now. Okay, look. So these are the two photos Amber claimed were different. This one and this one. You can tell they're just different saturations. But they're the exact same photograph. Look, you just up the saturation and it's the same. And she was like, no, these were taken at different times of the day. What the fuck?
Tom, can we pull up Defendant's Exhibit 170A, which has been admitted into evidence?
Crazy.
Mr. Neumeister, does this photo appear to be one that you have analyzed as part of your analysis in this case?
There were many
Oh.
versions of this photo.
Wait, this
I
one?
would say there were dozens of different versions with different chromatic values, different file sizes, different physical sizes. Some had been through Photos 1 or Photos 3, which are photo editing software programs.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to show Mr. Neumeister's demonstrative, Plaintiff's Exhibit 1303.
All right, any other objection?
I would object again, Your Honor, because the photograph in 170A is not in evidence.
All right.
The photograph is in evidence. None of the photographs he wishes to show the jury are in evidence.
1303 is in evidence over objection. Not in evidence, I'm sorry, as a demonstrative.
Just as a demonstrative.
I'm sorry.
Could we go to publishing this very, please? And Mr. Neumeister, what does this demonstrative show about the photos that you analyzed?
Well, they appear to be similar. However, if you look below at the file sizes, one on the left is 712 kilobytes. The one in the middle is 489 kilobytes. And the one on the right is 524 kilobytes. Now, what's unusual about that is these photos will not digitally fingerprint with each other. They won't hash. In other words, forensically, they don't match. But the thing is, you could say, well, it was sent through email, maybe it's a different size. The file sizes, for example, would be possibly, you can select the file size, you send a photo, but there's no way to authenticate any photo that was presented in the way the evidence was collected.
And so what conclusions do you draw from that?
Well, this is just three of many of the same type of photos that are all different sizes and have different chromatic, which means color.
Objection, Your Honor. We just had a ruling on this.
All right, sustained objection.
Mr. Neumeister, stick to your opinions that relate specifically to what you analyzed about the EXIF data, please.
All three of these photos had to go through some type of transformation to change sizes.
We can take that one down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's saying they're not the original.
You mentioned Photos 1.5 and Photos 3.0 earlier, I believe.
Photos.
What is that?
Photos 3 and Photos 1.5 are editing programs that Macintosh or Apple put out with their product. It's for editing photos. In other words, you would put a photo in and you would change the colors, or you would crop it, or you would clarify it by enhancing, for example, the sharpening, or you could darken it. But when you save a photo through an editing program, you leave a mark on the EXIF data.
And what is the EXIF data?
The EXIF data is the data that is embedded in a photograph that tells you a lot about the photograph. And again, in the early days when we were using film cameras, you would write down the f-stop, which is the light setting. You would write the type of lens you use, the time of day, the type of film stock, the type of filters you're using. Now with digital cameras, that's done electronically, and there's about 1,000 lines of code, of which 50 are probably important, that tell you what the camera was doing.
So what's the significance of EXIF data in your photo analysis?
Well, in this situation, I can see that normally where the operating system of the camera would be, which means the version that of operating system the phone is running on, it would normally say something like, I'll just throw out an arbitrary number, 9.1.3 operating system for iOS, which is Apple's iPhone operating system. Instead of saying that, it says software Photos 3.0 or Photos 1.0. That means that the photo had to be rendered, which means composited together in an editing program.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that shows some of your analysis of some of the EXIF data of the photos in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can we pull up 1304, please? Your Honor, may I approach?
I like you, Winky. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What do you guys think about that photo with the bruise being edited? I think it's just weird. Because I don't think she edited the bruise on.
Permission
I think
to
she just
publish as a
adjusted the colors
demonstrative,
to
Your
make it look more
Any
intense.
objection?
But at the end of the day,
Any
it's
objections
one
to
I'm sorry, Your
bruise.
Honor. My
She was just to
co-counsel's
publish
talking. I'm
it
so sorry.
as a demonstrative.
But her editing it does show that she was trying to show something, you know?
No objections to demonstrative.
All right, thank you. We'll publish it as 1304,
It just makes her look
just as a
weird.
demonstrative.
The edit
And
can
Mr.
be a simple
Neumeister,
crop.
are these images in this demonstrative excerpts from the report you prepared in this case?
Yes, they are.
And what do they show?
On this particular photo, and on all of them, it shows the first few lines of EXIF data, the ones that would be most important for this photograph. So, for example, things you would see, the very top line would be the make of phone. It's an Apple iPhone 6. And then the resolution is 72 pixels per inch, 72 to 1. And instead, where it says software, on a normal iPhone photo, it would, instead of saying Photos 3, it would say the software version, for example, 9.3.1. And then you've got the date and the time of the photo below that, which is really easy to change in an EXIF editor. And below that, you have things like the like the flash. You've got the exposure type, how long the exposure was. So what you just highlighted there again was the date and time. So that's universal time code minus whatever area you're in the world.
Anything else you want to show us with this demonstrative?
Yeah, just below that, if you look, there's some things that would say, for example, a directly photographed image. That is not going to be necessarily accurate once it's been through an editor. It will always pretty much say that. So when you're looking at scene type or auto exposure, these are things that really don't matter all that much. What would matter is, for example, if you're taking notes, the focal length would be important.
She knows she
the
did
pattern
edit those.
of metering, things like that to a photographer would be important.
Even if she,
And
even
again,
if it was a small
this is just
edit,
a few
it's still
lines,
fun.
and the reason I put these
I mean,
in
we'll
there
see
was
what
just
the
to explain a
process-
bit what EXIF data is. The actual thing I'm trying to point out is the fact that instead of an operating system, it shows the editing program that was used on this photo.
Are there additional photos that you did this analysis for?
Yes, many.
Okay. Can we scroll to the next page, please, Tom? Is there anything about this photo that you noted as part of your analysis, Mr. Neumeister?
Yes, again, it's right there you've got Photos 3.0 on that particular photo. And I think, we've pretty much covered what the stuff is, but again, you see the Photos 3.0. And again, this could not come out of an iPhone this way. This would go into a computer, be edited, and rendered through the photo editor. And this would then be embedded in the EXIF data.
Do you have other photos in this demonstrative?
Yes.
All right, can we scroll to the next page?
Same thing. You've got up here in the top, you've got the Photos 3.0, and this is throughout a lot of the photos that are in evidence, or versions of the photos in evidence, were gone through Photos 3.0 or Photos 1.5, an earlier version.
Can we scroll to the next?
Here, this is what the cross is going to say. So, if she put it in a
what
photo
about this
editor
one?
to crop out,
Same
let's
thing,
say,
Photos 3.0.
personal information,
And again, in
would
a
that
photo
still result
editing
in it
app, you
saying
can do
Photos
an awful lot of
3.0?
things.
And
So
he's going
when
to
you
say,
see
well,
Photos
yes, it could.
3.0,
And
first
that's,
of all, you know it's not anywhere near an original. There's going to be
but he
compression
should have just
artifacts
redacted it.
because it's a JPEG file.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question. Can we move on to the next page of this demonstrative, please?
And again, same thing. You've got the Photos app.
He needs to mention how
And I
those
believe
two
there's one
photos are
final
the
photo
same,
in
and
this
boom,
demonstrative.
and
What
how
about
she
this
said
one?
that they were different
Again,
photos.
if you look up there, it says Photos 3.0 on that particular photo.
All right, we can take that one down. Your Honor, I have a little bit left. I don't know if you wanted to.
All right, you want to take our afternoon? Let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess. Just do not discuss the case and don't do any outside
Let's go
outside
on the
research. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Just in my PJs. Yo. Any orange justice stirs?
All right, so let's just come back at 4 o'clock. All right.
Okay. SG. All right. So, I have one question for you guys, and then we're going to go try to finish Johnny's testimony, the first one. So, you guys know when they were showing that screenshot of the text that he wrote, and afterwards he was looking like a little smug. He's like, yeah, I wrote that shit. What do you guys make of that? Do you think it's a little cocky to own up to that? Or do you think that's just kind of how he is about everything? Even the terrible stuff. He's like, yeah, I did that shit. Or you think he finds that funny? Do you really just not think much of it at all? I mean, I've said shit like that too. That's how he is. Yeah. How do people find Cortez and how do you not? I think he was laughing at them trying to use that against him. I thought he was like, actually, was, oh, no. Not those. I'm talking about the one where he called her a fish market and a Canadian guzzler. I think he found it funny. Actually, I kind of, considering afterwards how he spoke about it, and he was like, the whole world was seeing me this way, and obviously I was very, very irritated. I think in that moment, the way he reacted was just like, you know, when you're so embarrassed by something, you're just like you have no choice but to laugh, kind of. You almost laugh because there's no other reaction you can really do. That's kind of how I felt. He's like, yeah, it's fucked up. But he's not really the type to like cry about it. But he did still respond in a pretty human manner.
68 tipped $4.20.
Yeah, I think he still reacted in a pretty human manner when he was like, it was a really, really terrible moment. I was really irritated, so I said those things. So, All right, do you guys want to finish the rest of his testimony?
Premieres in Leicester Square for several films. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Again, beyond the scope of his.
And how do you know that?
Bro, it's so funny to see how smug she was looking during this, but then how extremely not smug she was looking during the photo evidence, because she knows she has nothing to say to that.
Then,
remember that?
Yes.
And how would you describe your relationship with Whitney when you were in a relationship with Miss Heard?
A strange combination of loving sister,
Oh my god, the
trusted
TMZ stuff is so
sister
damning.
and friend.
Because I know her defense is just going to be, that doesn't mean it was me that sent it in. It could be anybody that sent it in. No, it meant your team did, because they got the copyright like this in 15 minutes. Her team was working with TMZ to put that out. That's crazy.
And then Lackey. And then, you know, either
Crazy.
the punching bag or the dartboard, or the recipient of some rather demeaning and ugly words, or she would have wine thrown in her face.
And then there was that article.
To be up to snuff, and it just seemed like she got shot down.
Your Honor, it's going beyond the scope of the question, or his foundation for knowledge of that.
Your Honor, I asked what he observed, between them. I think this is responsive to that.
And his testimony is what
20
Whitney
sharp
felt is.
68 tipped
sustain the objection.
$4.20.
Sorry, we can show that later.
Did you ever see Miss Heard physically attack Whitney?
No, I've never seen any full-on blowouts, physical blowouts between them. Tons of verbal blowouts.
But didn't he say that she pushed her?
I've certainly seen Miss Heard grab Whitney, push her around. There were there were half a dozen times when some of us, whoever was in the general vicinity, would have to leave. This is at Orange, when Whitney and Amber were living at Orange. Whitney and her boyfriend at the time, Sean Krajewski, and we had to leave the apartment and wait in the car while they fought.
And when you say fought, do you mean physically or?
Physical.
And when you said Ms. Heard would push Whitney around, do you mean that physically push her or
Oh yeah, this is
metaphorically?
the part.
Both.
You heard Whitney testify that how long did Whitney live in Penthouse?
How much longer do you have?
I have a bit.
Okay, it's okay.
Mr. Depp, do you recall hearing testimony during Ms. Heard's case from Mr. Mandel?
Yes, Joel Mandel is
You do not
This is
spend
the
very much money on
charity
charity.
Yeah.
donate money. I donate without my name being involved because I don't see that that's important. My name being there in terms of money. Now, if I am able to visit hospitals or if I'm able
I
to
like this part.
meet with Make-A-Wish children, I've held on to the relationships that I've held on to within the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Children's Hospital and various other places.
We saw this, but I think this is what we watched up to. I don't want to skip
obviously
too
my
far.
name is involved. When we held premieres in Leicester Square for several films, Charlie and the
Objection, Your Honor.
Chocolate Factory.
Again, beyond the scope of his response to Mr. Mandel's
Right?
testimony.
I believe this is in response to Mr. Mandel.
Overrule the objection.
So basically, when it was a public, let's call it a donation or whatever, I would talk to the studio. I would talk to Disney. I would talk to Warner Brothers. I would talk to whoever the studio was, well before the premiere, and make the premiere a benefit that would. Once we did what we did a benefit premiere for Great Ormond Street Hospital. We did a couple of benefit premieres for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I mean, if you can turn a premiere with that many thousands and thousands and thousands of people there into a benefit, it works and it helps. But it wasn't presented under my name. You know, it was Disney's doing this or Warner Brothers is doing this. I'm not looking for the pat on the back, as it were. If I can make it happen, great. But I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need the adulation. I don't need the attention.
Did you hear Ms. Heard testify that one of the charities she donated a portion of your divorce settlement to
No.
was the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles?
No.
What is your relationship with the CHLA?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant. to the
May we
issue.
approach her?
She about to get cooked. Strike things for subbing. I respect that he's not flaunting his donations, and I understand it. Oh my god, that's Whitney, right? Dude, she can't look him in the eye. Any lip readers?
Or in the hospital there, and their wishes to.
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Depp, what is your relationship with the CHLA?
I've had a relationship with the CHLA for probably 20 years or so.
And what's the nature of that relationship?
Well, since sometimes there are Make-A-Wish kids who are in the hospital there, and their wishes to.
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Oh wait, was this before?
21st, their wishes to.
There's so many. May we approach? I did
May
see
20th,
Kate Moss's testimony. Yeah.
We're talking 2016 here.
Yes.
May 20th, the afternoon of May 20th, afternoon, evening, my mom made her exit. She'd been fighting cancer numerous times and for many years, and she fought all the way to the end.
That's so sad.
And so my mother passed away on the 20th of May. Which does bring instant perspective into one's mind. I spoke to Amber that night. I called her on the telephone, explained to her that my mom had passed, Betty Sue had passed, and that I thought that the best thing we could do was to that I filed for
Your Honor.
divorce.
Hearsay. What Mr. Depp told Ms. Heard.
We can move on. Your
Okay,
Honor.
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Depp, what happened at the end of that week on May 27th, 2016?
May 27th, my daughter's birthday. May 27th. I was not in Los Angeles. I was on the way to on tour, and that was when Miss Heard went for the restraining order. And oh yeah, also that was the day that Alice Through the Looking Glass, a film I'd done, was opening.
Did Miss Heard know that you were out of town on May 27th?
Yes.
And how would she have known that?
Well, I told her I was going on tour. I mean, that was well established.
How long were you going to be out of town on that
For
tour?
all tipped $2. I really don't understand why Johnny is
2
allowed
to 3
to
months.
laugh,
And did
smirk,
Miss-
doodle, fall asleep and do whatever he wants when Amber testifies, but if Amber even half smiles, she's a bad person. Non-biased stream BTW.
I think you're taking a lot of the things that other people say and claiming them as things that I'm saying. I've personally found it funny when he does these things. I don't think Amber is a bad person for smiling, but noticing when she smirks and when she takes on this smug appearance is very interesting. Also, as unlucky as it is regarding people being unbiased, Johnny tends to do these things at moments that are funny. You'll notice when Amber is testifying, he doesn't like look at her smug. If she says something that maybe doesn't make sense, and to be fair, there are many things that she has been proven wrong on. Of course, he will laugh and be like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then he'll talk to his lawyer. She looks at everything he says like, oh my God, like, look at him lying. It gives a more condescending vibe. And for him, he's just like, this is so stupid. So again, it's like the contexts tend to be more comedic. This isn't to say that there have been some comparisons. I would like to argue, not really by me, but there have been some comparisons, especially in the media, that are unbiased towards Amber. And I see people saying this sometimes in chat as well, like, why is she taking notes? Why is she, when she's supposed to be doing these things? You know, she's supposed to be speaking to her lawyers. So those things I don't agree with and I don't personally say. So I hope this clarifies once and for all my personal perspective. And please don't take the things that other people say as my word if they are not my word. Thank you.
Miss Heard know how long you'd be out of town?
I don't know if she knew exactly how long I'd be out of town, but it was a pretty extensive tour of Europe.
How did Miss Heard's actions on May 27th, 2016 affect you?
This makes me laugh so much. I don't know why.
Changed everything.
All right.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh,
Oh, did it change everything? Sorry.
Sir, if you could wait till the objection, please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Tourette's.
This
Your
shit.
Honor, this is one of the key dates.
Did he say another joke? Whatever.
Mr. Depp, what has it been like for you to listen to Miss Heard's testimony at this trial?
I'm sorry.
What has it been like for you to listen to
interesting.
Miss Heard's testimony at this trial?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Oh, overruled.
Oh no, I think I still smell poop on the hand that I cleaned up with.
Insane.
Aww. Sorry.
It's insane
Bravo.
to hear heinous accusations of violence, sexual violence, that she's attributed to me, that she's accused me of. I don't think anyone.
Okay. I'm gonna wash my hands again. I can't tell if the smell is in my head, you know? I'll be back. Yeah, Mimi, you big pooper. So why did you poop there, huh? don't smell anything for sure. I worry it's in my head. Anyways, let's continue.
enjoys having to
Harmonica stare.
split themselves open and tell the truth. But there are times when one just simply has to, because it's gotten out of control. Horrible. Ridiculous, humiliating, ludicrous, painful, savage,
As someone with two
unimaginably
cats, it's never in your head.
brutal,
Look around.
cruel,
I don't smell it right now.
and all false. All false. I wanted. No human being is perfect, certainly not. None of us. But I have never in my life committed sexual battery, physical abuse, all these outlandish, outrageous stories of me committing these things and living with it for 6 years
That must
and
be
waiting
very
to be able to
difficult if it's not true.
bring the truth out. So this is not easy for any of us. I know that. But no matter what happens, I did get here, and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
I think a lot of people have said
Thank
this,
you.
but win or
No further
lose, I think
questions.
that was really, really
Do you
important
want
for
to take
him
lunch
to
at this
do.
point? Or just, okay, all right, let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and
Has the
take
flight
let's
attendant
just time to not discuss this
testified
case with
yet?
anybody
Are they
and don't do any
supposed
side
to?
research, okay? Thank you. And don't break anything on your way
She's
out.
gonna?
Thank you.
That's huge. That's big. That's big. You know what's crazy? And I've been saying this from the start. I always thought that actually, whether or not Johnny, like, truly was abusing her throughout the relationship, or whether or not Amber was really the victim, I actually thought he would lose this case just because defamation is so hard to prove. This is just from a legal perspective. That's really what I thought. But honestly, at this point, Amber has lied about so many things and has misrepresented so many things. And I'm not gonna lie, she just kind of inted herself. It's like she's playing a character that scales and should likely win at the end of the day, but she's just running it down mid. And she doesn't even need to. Like, just stay in your lane and farm safely and you'll be fine. But instead she's going so far in, she's exaggerating, she's lying, and she's being proven wrong. The analogy. You guys get what I'm saying, right? When if she just played it a little safer, I think she would have won. Yeah. But now she's made herself look bad. Johnny also looks bad, to be fair. But, well, yeah. Y'all get my point. Big T1 fan here, I get you. Look at my lawyer, bro. That would be me in a court of law. What do you guys think? And obviously, in the court of public opinion, Johnny is doing much better. That shit was crazy.
Fast
He had
and
like a
Furious
1090
tipped
chance of winning
$2.
going in.
I just want
Yeah.
to warn you that you get stalked from the
Well,
back.
not fully reversed, but yeah. Yeah, but you need to remember that she has been growing her story over the years and she can't exactly go back after all this time. I don't know what your point is. If anything, that's just bad on her. To me, both look bad. Maybe Johnny didn't deserve as much shit as he got, but I don't think he should win this. Yeah, maybe he'll still lose the defamation, but I don't think she would win the countersue whatsoever. I really don't think she would. So in that sense, I don't think Amber should win. And honestly, they've both kind of ruined each other's careers to some extent. I think Johnny's is salvageable, but I don't think Amber's is whatsoever. So I think overall, it does kind of make sense. He doesn't win the defamation case, and she doesn't win the countersue. And yeah. And he has won the public, so. I want to hear about the photos, the ones that are exactly the same, and she claimed they weren't.
All right. Okay, you can be seated. Your next question.
Thank you. Mr. Neumeister, do you have another demonstrative prepared that shows a photo with EXIF data reflecting that it was saved in Photos 3?
Correct. Photos 3, yes.
Your Honor, we have a video of these photos, and we're happy to play it once so that counsel can review, if that's all right.
Okay.
I'm sending a photo of my Mimi poop. Bro, you can't lie. My tub kind of does look like a litter box, you know? Like, they are looking very similar. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's absolutely disgusting. Stop. You guys don't own pets, and it's very clear to see. When you have a pet, you're like, a shit is a shit. It's just a shit. You got to clean up after that shit all the time. A poop is a poop. I'll show you guys a poop. There's a poop. I clean like 4 of these a day. I don't know how my 2 cats poop twice a day each, but they do. Crazy. Don't defame Mimi. She really could sue me at this point. And then I have to prove, well, on this date of May 25th, 2022, Bo was approximately only 4 months old. Now, this would mean that his poop was much smaller than a full-grown 4-year cat's old's poop. And in comparison, it was very clear that the size of that poop would have either been done by a human being, which was surely not me, I would never poop in a tub, or by Mimi. It is impossible for Bo to have pooped a poop that large. And then, because I actually do have a photo of Bo's poop, I would be like, this is Bo's poop. This is Mimi's poop. Like, guys, I would do well in a court of law. What can I tell you? I was born for that shit, I think. High key. Purr, yes. Yeah. I would. So go ahead, Mimi. Sue me. I dare ya. And as you can see in the EXIF data, this photo was not edited. And its size is the original 4:3 ratio that iPhones 13 or whatever the frick iPhone it is have.
All right, we took care of that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
May we publish, or would you like to see it?
Ooh, don't do us like that with the echo.
And what's demonstrative business going to be then?
This
Mimi
is plaintiff
stank
1305, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Oh,
you
you
play
want to
it?
be all friendly now, huh? After you took a turd in my bathtub? And I have, like, the last week, I've taken more baths than I've taken, like, my whole life.
Subject to your Honor's ruling, that's
All right. So 130 marked
now
as
you wanna be
plaintiff's
friendly, huh?
1305 and use this demonstrative. You can publish to the jury.
So why did you shut it up?
Mr. Newmeister, we're going
Why didn't you
to
sit in the tub?
go ahead and play the demonstrative that you prepared, and then after the jurors had a chance to see it, if you want to explain to them what the demonstrative shows, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
I still love you.
Canadian lawyer here can confirm that defamation suits are very hard to win. The issue of proving damages is the real barrier even if defamation is established. They would have to prove that the defamation directly caused the damages.
So, Mr. Newmeister, what was depicted in that video?
The same photo treated two different ways. One was marked with the original or with the operating system from an iPhone, which is iOS 9.3.1 on that particular photo. The one this is 9.3.1. There's a graphic below indicating it. The second photo is marked Photos 3, and it looks quite a bit different.
And just, Tom, could we pull up defendant 708?
You guys missed it? Let me go back. Because it was important.
Prepared, and then after the jurors had a chance to see it, if you want to explain to them what the demonstrative shows, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
Photos 3.0 means it was edited.
No, this.
I think iOS means it's original. So this was the edited. This is the original. Bro, this is what I look like after
So, Mr.
walking in
Newmeister,
the winter in
what
Canada.
was depicted in that video?
So damn cold.
The same photo treated two different ways. One was marked with the original
You know, she's so
or
cold.
with the operating system
Cheeks are
from an
so red.
iPhone, which is iOS 9.3.1 on that particular photo. The one this is 9.3.1.
What are you looking
There's
at?
a
The
graphic
person
below
who
indicating
owns the
it.
tub that you shat
The
in.
second photo is marked Photos 3, and it looks quite a
right.
bit different.
And just, Tom, could we pull up defendant 708?
Sorry. I'm having my own, drama.
Mr. Newmeister, does the image in defendant 708 appear to be similar, same photo as what was depicted in your demonstrative?
Actually it's the Photos 3.0 edit version.
Thank you. We can take that one down, Tom. Mr. Newmeister, have you also formed an opinion about defendants exhibits 712 and 713?
Correct.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that shows?
Your Honor, exhibits 712 and 713 are outside the scope.
I can show you if you'd like, Your Honor.
Hashtag justice for Mimi. Oh, you stand with Mimi Turd? Okay, stand in the tub then. Stand in the tub.
Disgusting shit.
I've got a great soundboard. Listen to that. Listen to this.
Amber Turd.
Listen to this.
Aquaman.
Listen to this.
FBI, open up!
That one's scary. How about this?
Oh, shit.
Here we go again. What else we got? I should have saved that one for the next demonstrative. Damn. I really should have. Pause.
All right. Could we pull
Pretend you
up
didn't hear it.
plaintiff's exhibit
Pretend you didn't hear it.
1306, Tom? And Your Honor, this is another video that, can you pause that, please?
Oh, sorry.
This is another
Hear
video
what?
that we prepared.
Exactly.
It's not published yet, so I'm happy to play it once
Laugh
through.
like it's the first time you heard
so
it,
that-
okay? Hey, big head. Hey, big head.
So just request what exhibits are.
Aw, she
Sorry,
answers to Mimi. She doesn't answer to
What
Big Head.
exhibits are these that are in this video? It doesn't say. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get my question out a moment ago. Defendant 712 and 713, Your Honor.
Got Got it, got it.
1306 then will be a demonstrative as identified and republished.
And if we could go ahead
Ooh,
and
this
play
is
that,
gonna be
please.
spice.
Tom?
This is gonna be spice. This is the video I showed you guys. Oh my god, this editing.
And Mr. Newmeister, what's your, what do we see here in this demonstrative?
Look at him changing the saturation.
There's Exhibit 712, I believe you have. I'm not sure the dates on
She's
there, 712 and
cooked.
713.
She's cooked.
They're two separate exhibits, except it's the exact same photograph that's been, one's been edited, one hasn't. Or I can't say that one hasn't, but the colors have been modified in an editor.
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope
Yup.
of your ruling, talking about colors. It
No,
keeps
it's
happening.
not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What?
Mr. Newmeister, did you form an opinion in this case about the authenticity of the photos that you reviewed of Ms. Heard?
Well, first of all, nobody can identify the authenticity of the photos, of any of the photos. Marked
Yeah, that's true.
photos 3,
Objection,
photos
colors.
1, or just marked with the operating system number. And the reason is the manner of collection. So these came from an iTunes backup. Now, what is an iTunes backup?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry. You're beyond the scope of your ruling. EXIF metadata, this keeps happening.
Your Honor, may I approach on this one?
Come on. Why are you so scared of having him talk about more data, huh? Why is that a concern to you? If data says the truth. See, now it would make sense for me to post that meme, but I won't, because, you know, I don't like
M1's
the
tear
angry
tipped
people.
$2. You look like my mom that just woke up to watch her favorite actor court case.
Stop. I need you to... I don't look like your mom. You wish I was your damn mommy, okay? And I'm only saying that because I kind of do look like I mean, I feel like I'm giving auntie vibes, but still. This is just the way that I look.
Ashley61202 tipped $2. Please check this out. The text message Johnny denied sending was incoming, not outgoing.
So, Mr. Newmeister, without going into the specifics, what's your opinion about the authenticity of the photos you received from Ms. Heard?
Based on the way they were collected, there would be
Objection,
no...
Your Honor. We just ruled on
But
this.
maybe that's the source.
I framed my question, I thought, Your Honor, to avoid the issue that you're concerned about. Mr. Newmeister, what's your opinion about the authenticity here?
There's no way for any forensic expert to validate any of these photos.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Newmeister.
Good afternoon.
Bruv.
Your only degree is in
Enzo
political science,
Endowiggin
correct?
tipped $2.
42
the
years
data
ago,
tells
correct.
the truth, it seems.
And you have no
Sorry,
degree
sorry,
whatsoever from any academic institution in computer science, correct?
That's correct.
And you have no certifications in computer forensics, correct?
That's correct.
Me neither, and even I could tell. So then what? Maybe that means it's that easy to see.
From the opinions you've testified today, you relied on no data except for the embedded EXIF metadata to support those opinions, correct?
Incorrect.
What other data did you rely on for the opinions you've testified to today?
I was trying to explain that you kept it.
What other data did you rely on for the actual opinions you've been able to testify to today besides EXIF metadata?
The type of extraction that was performed? You're asking the question.
For the actual opinions you testified to?
That is what I would use. I would also use vector scopes.
Objection, Your Honor. That was not responsive to my question, Your Honor.
If you want to approach.
Are you confused? He's telling you what he used. It is, he's telling, what? I think the lawyer just doesn't understand what these things mean. And he's like, objection. Like, we get it. You still have a Nokia flip phone, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, do you have a degree in saturation and brightness
so you can
levels?
answer that question.
No, bitch, I just have a brain.
You can answer the
Sorry.
question.
Can you restate the question?
I'm losing my unbiasedness. No, objectively, that's objectively he's being dumb.
Your Honor, maybe we could have
That's
the court
not even
reporter read
biased.
it back.
They could redirect.
No. Okay, what was the question, Judy?
Humph.
I believe the question was, what methodology did I use to make my findings?
Judy's voice has changed. That's.
Sorry.
Is that correct, Judy? Okay. That's fine. Okay.
So, when you're analyzing video or photo, in this case,
Objection to video, Your Honor, that's beyond the scope.
All right, if you could just answer the question, sir.
when you're analyzing a photo, a digital photo, you look at the EXIF data, you use a vector scope, you can use a Pantone chart if that's available, and that should be done, but that's a whole different deal. If I go into that, you'll object to it. So you'd also use a waveform scope, you would use an RGB parade, you can use a histogram, though in this case it's not really all that relevant.
Thank you.
You are not offering any opinions that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
I'm just stating the fact that photographs were modified.
But so you are not offering any opinion that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
Can you please pull up Exhibit 170A?
It wasn't Amber that edited them. It was her
Defendants
manager.
170, yes, Your Honor.
So the fuck what? It was edited.
So you offered testimony regarding this photograph during the direct examination, right, Mr. Neumeister?
There's
That's a yes or no, sir.
of a photograph like that, I don't exactly remember the photograph. There's so many different versions of this photograph, but yes, I've talked about that particular photograph.
But do you recall being deposed in this matter?
Yes.
You were under oath?
Yes.
And that was on April 6, 2022?
I believe.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Neumeister, if you
back
could please
to you
turn
on
to
that.
page 76. And when I say pages, those are the little pages in the 4 boxes, not the page
gotcha.
at the top. And do you see page 76, line 3?
Guys,
You were
how do
asked on
people
April
wear
6,
glasses
anywhere in
and
your April
headsets at
1st,
the same
2022
time?
expert
This shit
disclosure, do you
hurts.
offer any opinions regarding the authenticity or lack of authenticity of the specific photograph produced as ALH 7101? Response, can I refer to my report to see if that specific number is in the report?
You don't?
Yes.
Well, what do you
Response, not that specific photo. I just grabbed 3 out of the batch. Do you see that?
Yes.
Can you please pull up Exhibit 517, or Defendants 517?
Thank you.
You are not offering any opinions regarding this specific photograph, right, Mr. Neumeister?
That's correct. My testimony's been limited here.
And you are not offering any opinion that any photograph was visually doctored by Amber, correct?
Not by, I can't put the person who might have done it.
Well, you're not offering an opinion that a photo was visually doctored by anybody, are you?
I'd have to see each photo. There's no way to authenticate any of these photos based on what I received.
So you testified about Photos 3. Do you recall that testimony?
Correct.
Yeah, Photos 3 is a photo editing and photo sorting application, correct?
Thank you for the buses.
It's a photo editor and photo sorter, as are a number of editors.
So when you reference Photos 3.0, you never did any independent strike that, Your Honor. So when the software of a photograph in the EXIF metadata says Photos 3.0, That could be just saying that the photo was saved in Photos 3.0, correct?
Unless you looked at a scope of the photos, that would tell you that the parameters of the photo do not meet that of the cell phone that it was taken on.
But the notation Photos 3.0 in the software EXIF metadata, that does not in and of itself mean that the photo was edited in Photos 3.0, correct?
It means that you've recompressed the photo and it will not hash or digitally fingerprint with the original photo.
But it does not mean in and of itself that it was visually edited in any way in Photos 3.0, correct?
Again, it's not the same photo because you're using lossy compression once you save it, so you have changed the photo.
I think his testimony's really good.
So if you could please turn to page 233 of that transcript. And line 20, do you see question? When it says exit software, okay, Photos 3.0. On to 234. That's just saying it was saved in Photos 3.0, right? Response, saved in 3.0. That's correct. Question, that notation in and of itself does not mean that the photo was edited in 3.0, right? Answer, that's correct. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Well, why would
A file
someone
has
take a
not changed
photo, put it in
visually
another
just because
program
it's been
just to
processed
resave
through
it?
Photos 3.0, correct?
That's incorrect.
Can you look at page 128 of your deposition, please?
You're trolling.
The bottom, line 20, question, you see, question, but the file changed visually just because it has been processed through Photos 3.0. Answer, obviously I understand what you're asking. From a technical point, yes, because of the compression. You get down to scopes and artifacts, yes, it has changed. Was it intentionally changed? We don't know. In other words, did somebody save it in there and just save the photo? We don't know. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct. But again, it says here...
That was my question, Mr. Neumeister.
Okay.
So if the EXIF metadata software field lists the software as iOS, you have no reason to dispute that, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, isn't data data? That's what you testified to, right?
It's very simple to modify EXIF data.
Did you find any evidence in this case of actual modification of EXIF metadata?
You can't authenticate any of these photos because of the way they were.
That wasn't my question, Mr. Neumeister. Did you find any evidence of any modification of EXIF metadata of any photograph in this case?
You didn't listen to my answer. My answer is there is no way to know because of the way the files were presented.
So you found no actual evidence of it, correct?
That no one could.
I'm not asking if anyone else could, Mr. Neumeister. I'm asking, did you yourself find you found no evidence of any modification of EXIF metadata of any photograph in this case, correct?
Now, I understand trying to control the narrative, but there's no way to answer that scientifically because given the evidence we were given, there is no way to positively or negatively answer that. It's not a question that can be answered.
It is a question, Mr. Neumeister. The question is, did you yourself, you found no affirmative evidence of any modification of software EXIF metadata of any photograph in this case, correct? You found no actual evidence of that, did you?
No one could tell either way because...
I'm not asking about anyone else, Mr. Neumeister. I'm asking about you.
I cannot tell.
Did you found no evidence of that, did you?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
He's not answered what he found, Your Honor.
Overruled.
There's not a way to answer that the way you're asking the question. You have to restate it. You're trying to control...
Your Honor, he's not responding to the question.
Could you just answer yes or no, sir, to the question?
It's not a yes or no question.
Did you, yes or no, you
judge,
found no evidence of EXIF metadata modification of any photograph in this case, correct?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
Giga Chad witness, man. I hope they're paying him good.
It is your opinion that the metadata of all photographs of purported injuries that Ms. Hurd has identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application, correct?
Well, first of all, that's not a yes or no question because a lot of the exhibits that you have put up, they're not photographs. They're screen grabs, and they've been changed from a Apple format, which is JPEG, JPEG, to a JPG Microsoft format. So you have actually changed the exemplars. You've changed the data yourselves. We actually ran EXIF data on some of your own examples that you've entered into evidence. They are not photos from an iPhone. Those were edited on a PC.
I'm going to
my God.
hand up a page from your disclosure.
Oh, did you see that shit? Nah, you fucking sleeping. That was just wow. You can tell this guy has really looked into it, and he's like, this is such suspicious evidence, and he refuses to have his words be twisted to sound otherwise, you know? Like, he must be that sure that this was like maliciously edited. Someone in my chat just asked if he's single. You could find that out on your own.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you see on page 8 of your disclosure, Mr. Neumeister, it states, quote, the metadata of all of the photographs of purported injuries that Ms. Hurd has identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application. Did I read that correct?
That's correct.
No
But
further,
we're talking
no
EXIF
further questions,
data.
Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
Mr. Neumeister,
Yes.
a moment ago, Mr. Murphy was asking you some questions about your opinion about the trial exhibits that Ms. Hurd has offered in this matter. And he asked you about your opinion that they don't indicate that they've gone through a photo editing application. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, in this last exhibit, it says metadata, not EXIF data. So that's two different things altogether. We're talking EXIF data, and on the report, I put metadata because I was requested to cover meta and EXIF data. So it's taken out of context. The EXIF data is the data based that's embedded in the photo. Metadata can be the file data about the file itself, two different things. So the way the data was collected, it was an iTunes backup is a backup.
Objection, Your Honor. Backups outside the scope of Your Honor's ruling beyond EXIF metadata.
Oh my God,
I think you opened the door on the
Overruled
Shit
objection.
that everybody
Thank you.
knows.
Go ahead, Brian.
An iTunes backup is only a backup of things that are on an iPhone that have not been deleted. It does not have the critical operating system. It doesn't have any of the files that would validate the path of a photograph in that phone. It does not have a lot of the log files. It does not have the Knowledge C database, which talks about usage of the phone and the patterns of how data was handled. All it is the photos you decided to save,
It's
not
like a Dropbox
the
or
photos you
Google
deleted.
Drive
So
or
it's a very
whatever.
limited database. Without the system registry or without the system operating system, there's no way to tell, because it's very easy to modify a photo on a phone and have it just read iOS 9.3.1. But with the actual phone, if you were able to get a hold of the actual phone, and in 95% of all cases we work, we have the actual phones. It doesn't matter if the phones are 10 years old or 20 years old, or not 20 years old, but 10 years old. The reason is if people have something they want to keep as evidence, they don't throw out their phones. They don't recycle their phones. They save their phones. So people ask how we're doing phones on 13-year-old cases. Because people do not throw out evidence. They keep the phone. So in a situation like this, there are no forensic extractions. In fact, the extractions we were provided were backups of iTunes, just exports. So it's third generation, and there is no way to verify the file paths and the history of any single photo that we've looked at.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. You can have a seat in the courtroom, or you're free to go.
Thank you very much.
All right, your next
You
witness.
did an amazing job.
We call Beverly Leonard by video link.
I need the TV. All right, just give us a moment to get the TV up.
Camille time? Let's go. Come on. That's not my name. Thanks for the 10 months. Smokey, thanks for subbing. Frank, thanks for subbing.
All right, Ms. Leonard, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, can you just count to 5 for me so I can get you on the big screen in the courtroom?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Oh, that's close. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Well, start talking. We'll see. Try the first question.
Good afternoon, Ms. Leonard.
Good afternoon.
All right, Ms. Leonard, if you could speak a little louder for me and try to count to 5 one more time. I'm just trying to get you on the TV screen.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, the lessons we learned in COVID, correct? Okay. All right, your first question.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Ms. Leonard.
Good afternoon.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Beverly R. Leonard.
Where are you testifying from?
I'm testifying from my home in Arizona.
Companion.
Ms. Heard was aggressive towards her traveling companion, and she had reached up and grabbed her arm and pulled a necklace off of her, and then I observed her having it in her hand. She seemed to be not very steady on her feet. Her eyes were blurry and watery, and I could smell alcohol.
What was Ms. Heard's traveling companion's reaction to being assaulted by Ms. Heard?
Objection, relevance?
And I'll sustain the objection.
This is a domestic abuse case.
What did
got
Ms.
it.
Heard's traveling companion
I retract
do?
my objection.
She raised her hands in what appeared to be a defensive manner, but other than that, she was pretty
I know it's not,
stoic
but it's a big part
and,
of it,
Didn't
you know?
really respond much. Her
It's a
stature
defamation
was
case
2 or 3
regarding
inches taller than
abuse.
Ms. Heard, so she didn't really need to have to defend herself.
How would you describe Ms. Heard's demeanor when you stepped in between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
She was somewhat dismissive. She just said, we're just having an argument. We're fine. We're fine. Because I was asking if they were okay. Are you okay? Is there anything wrong? What's going on? And
Objection,
she was,
hearsay. Just objection, hearsay to what she's saying.
All right. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What, if any, injuries did you observe on Ms. Heard's traveling companion?
She had abrasion on the side of her neck where the necklace was, like a rope burn from the chain as it was removed.
How did you come to testify in this trial?
I became aware of this situation, specifically this trial, because I was sent an email anonymously. I don't even know who it came from. Asking.
Objection, hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
You can't say what the email said. You can just say what it contained.
How would you
Or how
generally
it
describe Ms. Heard's
got you
behavior on the
here.
occasion you met her in 2009?
Objection, Your Honor. I already asked and answered the specifics.
I need a pee so bad. Iron Master, thank you for subbing. Welcome.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Cross-examination.
Ms. Leonard, when did you contact counsel for Mr. Depp?
You just want pee? Yeah, I pee a ton.
Late last night.
Late
Drink
last
a lot
night?
of water.
Okay. And this happened in 2009, correct?
Yes.
13 years ago, correct?
Yes.
And you know that this trial is being televised, right?
Yes.
And so you know that if you have something that might be significant to say, that way you can get on television,
do you
right?
just want to be famous? Is that correct?
No, I had no desire to be on television.
So would you consider
actually
yourself,
waited for
what do the Zoomers say these days,
and,
a
wondered
clout
why
chaser?
I hadn't been contacted.
All right, but you you reached out and contacted them last night, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Any
Huh?
redirect?
That's
Nothing
really
further,
it?
All right. Thanks,
That's
Ms. Leonard. You're free
weak.
to sign
That's
off.
so
Thank you.
weak. That's it?
All right.
Come on. Like, if you're going to mention that,
Your
at least
next
go into it a
witness.
little bit. You know, bring something else up, the relationship
may we
between
approach?
these two people. Like, bruv. I need a pee. Man, it's such a good life having my cat sit beside me, my other cat cuddle me while I'm streaming. It's a good life. I have gym in 2 hours and I don't want to go. Alright, I'm back. Hey, I love this gif. Are we vibing? Anyone vibing? Ooh, yeah, we vibing. Ooh, any vibers in the chat? Ooh, we vibing. Any vibing? Yeah, yeah. Ooh, we vibing. Just me and this rabbit vibing. Ooh, yeah, we vibing. Hey, hey, anyone vibing? Ooh, ooh, yeah, we vibing. Anybody vibing? If you can't see the emote, that's your problem. It's like a third party thing. But you wasn't even invited to the first party or the second, huh? Let alone the third. That's tough. Hey. Hello. Hello, my big head. Hello, Mimi Turd, who like to poopy in places she shouldn't poopy. That's you. Ooh, yeah, we vibing. Anyone There's like two types of people in the chat. There's the vibers, and then there's the smoking that turd pack. Smoking that turd pack. Those are the two types of people. But I'm vibing. Yeah, yeah. Anybody vibing? Don't lift heavy and you'll feel great after. Pre-workout is amazing as well. Insane, laugh, psychotic. Oh yeah, I'm sorry for complaining about the gym. Listen, when you gym, like, you gotta go to the gym, right? But the reason I said that is because TMI, it's the first day of my cycle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're
you know
still
what I'm
on
saying?
track to have
So I just-
closing arguments on
I
Friday
don't want to
morning.
go to the gym when I'm bleeding.
But the plaintiff only has one more witness in rebuttal, and then since we have a counterclaim, the defense has a chance to have rebuttal for their counterclaim, and so you'll hear the
Bro,
remaining
who asked?
witnesses
This is my
tomorrow on
stream.
that. So since we
It's
don't
like
have
a
anything further
permanent
today,
ask.
I'm going to go ahead and release you at this point. Do not discuss the case with anybody. Don't do any outside research.
Wait,
We'll
is
see you
it
back
done?
tomorrow morning at
Bill
9 o'clock.
97
Okay.
tipped $2.
Cool.
Thank you.
Tell the world, Mimi. Tell
It's
them,
done?
Mimi. Mimi, a cat. I'm a victim of defamation too. See how many people believe or side with you.
Yeah, tell them, Mimi. Tell them that you, a cat, are also a victim of defamation. She's like, bitch, are you talking to me? She's just screaming, are you talking to me, man? And see how many people believe or side with you.
Okay.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
And then for the record,
She does not
charge the plaintiff the remaining time till 5:30. The plaintiff has 7 hours and 8 minutes left as of this moment, and the defendant has 1 hour and 16 minutes left, right?
They
So we're on
have
the same
7
page.
times.
Okay, and jury
More
instructions,
time?
we get clean copies today.
I thought they had twice
Yes, Your Honor.
as much
So here's-
time.
I think we just
Not
received their comments around noon today, but we've had someone not in the court who's been
Okay.
looking at those and I think has narrowed down
Whoa.
the areas of disagreement and either is sending or has sent to Sammy an email
And they're
that sets forth the
winning.
few remaining issues of disagreement. But
Okay.
largely, I think we're mostly there, but I haven't had a chance to read what they sent.
Mostly,
over.
okay, so I have everything, so I don't have everything quite yet then.
It's not final.
Okay, but I will get it sometime this evening. We have an hour now. You can stay in the courtroom and work it out. How about that?
We're happy to address those. I think
Let's-
we need an opportunity to see what we sent them our comments 2 days ago, and we just got it 3
I
hours
understand,
ago.
but we have some extra time right now, so nobody leaves until I get my jury instructions. How's that?
That's fair.
And I like that. Okay, we'll do that, and the verdict form also. And then, if I could read Sammy's handwriting and tell you exactly what he's saying. Sammy, what are you saying here? Oh, yes, we get the 3 jury instructions that are under advisement, so we'll address those tomorrow as well, okay? And we'll work on Sammy's penmanship. All right, anything else?
So to be clear, Your Honor wants to hear the disputes right now or tomorrow?
We could, I mean, I don't think
Which
you know what the
disputes?
disputes are yet.
Right.
So I'll hear the disputes
I
tomorrow.
really like the judge.
Well,
Anyone else?
Yeah, we could do those
Seems
at some
chill.
point tomorrow. Sounds like we're going to have some extra
We'll have
time
some
tomorrow. So we'll take care of those tomorrow, but I want everything today. I want to know what those disputes are and have what you have clean already.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that by 5, you will get
Okay.
what the disputes are.
Okay, for everything, right? Okay, so just stay here until
For
we
both.
get all that,
Yeah.
for everything. Okay,
Sure.
great. Anything else then?
No,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
we'll
Thank
see you in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That my girl. That's my poopy girl. Oh, god damn! I don't want to get up. All right. Nice. Okay. Oh my god! Look at the curl. Boop. 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 Achoo! Yeah, I just dabbed in my sneeze. What is this? 2018 Fortnite? Mimi, you're not standing. Mimi, get up. Get up. Get up. You're being rude to the honor, the judge. Get up. She doesn't give a fuck. Well, whatever. All right, this was a nice impromptu stream. Thank you guys all for meeting me here. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for being nice about me showing up looking like I just woke up, because I kind of did. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will likely be back tomorrow. Question, does anyone know if we're having like a full trial day tomorrow and a full trial day Friday? Or is it just a full trial day tomorrow and then some of the trial Friday and closing statements? I know it's a full day tomorrow, but is it going to be a full day Friday is my question. Nobody knows. I guess it's a mystery. But I am really interested, and I would love to watch both the next 2 days. So we'll see how it goes. Again, thank you guys so much for watching me. Keep vibing, and I will likely see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care, okay? Take care. Smile. Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. Okay? Bye. And, hashtag justice for Mimi. Yeah. A little vibe and a little bye.